All right. We're up. Good morning, guys. All right, we're awake. The market's mostly down today. The dollar index is rising up. You can see the NASDAQ right here, 362s. You can see the SPY at 436s. We'll see what happens here. It's trying to hold. What's up, Yair? Yeah, it's a dollar right now, Yair. So, I mean, listen, if I was you, I would try it out too. What's up, Sir VCO? What's up, dude? All right. All right, team. All right, team. So yeah, so yesterday we had the FOMC meeting. Market is mostly reacting negatively to this. Um, oh crap, dude. I knew I forgot to do something, bro. I had my editor guy do like a FOMC TikTok, and then I just didn't freaking post it. All right, team. Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, so yeah, basically, um, okay, so basically, we had Jerome Powell yesterday. Yeah, so again, we had the Powell meeting yesterday, and basically what we gathered from the Powell meeting, number one is that they were going to keep the federal funds rate at the same spot, um, which is not a shock. So yeah, they're going to keep the federal funds rate at the same spot. So they did not raise rates; they paused or skipped. It's most we don't know whether it's going to be a pause or skip. What makes it a pause or a skip is what they decide to do during the next cycle in November, and nobody freaking knows. They were very apprehensive to give definitive statements or answers regarding what their plan was, not only for the rest of this year, but for next year's. So yeah, they're not really giving any definitive statements. Yeah, they're not really giving definitive statements. I just do. Oh, go back. Go back. What have I just done? I don't know how to switch this. Uh, uh, all right, Fed. Powell Interest rates. All right. So yeah, the Fed basically just was really apprehensive. Um, yeah, he was just really apprehensive to give out any big, bold like predictions. He didn't. They didn't really say whether he was going to raise rates the rest of this year. You know, there's two more Fed meetings this year. There's one in November, and then there's one in December. They didn't raise rates. They paused or skipped or whatever you want to call it, and so no rate hikes. But overall, again, the market's mostly reacting negatively to this. Uh, so I mean, you know, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now is weak market reaction. Also, what I've learned is that my music taste is better than just the generic music taste because yesterday everybody cried when I put on my regular music or when I put on just the normal like playlist that they automatically build for me, and then when I put my playlist up, everybody liked that. Another thing to consider is NVIDIA team. NVIDIA is dumping down. NVIDIA down to 415s. Again, this has been the big thing that has been dragging the market down. Is NVIDIA's weakness. We also have jobs data coming out today. So we got jobs data coming out today at 8:30. So just be ready for that. That data is coming out today, 8:30. Jobless claims in the Philly Fed index at 8:30 today. It's the day after the FOMC meeting. Why was he reading from an iPad? I think they just, I mean, usually he reads from a piece of paper. Like usually he comes out with like a board and a piece of paper and he reads from that. And so I think they're using a tablet now instead of a piece of paper, you know, which makes more sense. I mean, we're in the modern age of technology. Yeah, I'll probably be buying the dip. Um, I told you guys I was probably gonna buy like be buying the dip and some stuff here. Um, I mean, I'm green in pretty much everything. I might add to Amex. I might add to Apple a little bit, maybe. I've already scaled out of Apple, ironically enough, but I might start adding back to it as it dips. Yeah, and I bought this Roblox $30 call option, and it's like 500 bucks. So I'll probably lose like about $500 on this option. It was just kind of a dumb trade by me. I didn't think about September being the September slump. Like I didn't think about it being September, right? And just it being September, if I would have remembered that September is the worst historical month for markets, I would not have bought this put op or this call option, right? I would not have bought this call option if I would have remembered that September was such a bad month for markets. I bought it last month in October, in August, and so I just didn't put two and two together. That's why they were selling me that call option so cheap, is because they understand, like, hey, you know. So, but it's all good. It's 500 bucks. I'll be all right. Amex at a time of interest hikes. They didn't raise rates. They paused or skipped. Yeah, and they said they didn't know what they were going to do moving forward. Hmm. You know who's really at risk from Chat GPT? So I see Money Mitch sharing this Sam Altman, uh, who's the CEO of OpenAI. Um, so Money Mitch, I see him sharing this thing about super duper sunflower hedgehog. Bro, you know who's really in trouble from AI, right? You know who's really going to be negatively impacted by AI? Children's books writers. Children books writers. Like, bro, this guy, Sam Altman, just produced basically a child's book from AI in about 20 seconds. And it's good too. You can see it's good. It even produced the illustrations. Dolly 3 produced the illustrations for it, which is crazy. That's crazy, bro. Um, so yeah, I mean, hey. All right, so the Federal Reserve says they don't see a recession until at least 2027. All right, so the U.S. Fed says it's confident that the U.S. can avoid a recession. According to new projections by the Fed, it sees improvement in the economy, and it's confident that the U.S. can avoid a recession. Fed policymakers expect the economy to grow 2.1% this year. This is more than twice as fast as what they projected in June of 2023. So in June of this year, they projected much higher than that, or much less than that. They expect the national unemployment rate to remain at 3.8, compared to a previously projected rise to 4.1. In a statement, the Fed says they will, quote, see no recession until at least 2027 and a very smooth landing. The U.S. banking system is sound and resilient, end quote. So interesting. The recession is not here, Bow. I'm like, listen, man. One of the most frustrating things is to hear people yell recession when we're obviously not in a recession, brother. Like, bro, look at our GDP, dude. Look at our GDP. Look at our unemployment. Our unemployment's at 3.8% right now, brother. Our GDP, what was our last GDP report? Yeah, GDP for the second quarter came in at 2.1%. Um, it's not recession metrics, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely not recession here, brother. Yeah, but that's not a recession. Big caps, there's always some big caps in bubble territory, brother. And again, it does not mean a recession. A recession technically means, just for everybody that might not understand it, a recession technically means two consecutive losing GDP quarters. Like, that's the technical definition. Right now, lately they've added and high unemployment, right? But regardless of whether a high unemployment or not, it means two consecutive losing GDP quarters, and we're just not there. We've had continuous positive GDP. And so yeah, we're just not there. The Fed also thinks that GDP is going to grow a little bit farther than expected. They just came out over the last day with that. Um, so yeah, it's just not a recession. Y'all will know where there's a recession, and I think sometimes bearish traders kind of over predict recessions. I think it has to do with a lot of different things, but yeah, just currently we're not in one. Yeah, poker is trending. Oh, dude. So poker player Rob Mercer lied about having terminal cancer to raise $30,000 to enter the World Series of Poker main event, which is 10K, right? What a guy. Hmm. All right, so I got a couple people saying we're in the biggest housing bubble ever. Home prices adjusted for inflation are 85% overvalued compared to their 130-year average. Yeah, so again, so I'm looking at some real estate like Twitters. This home sold at 21 for 685K. The buyer's monthly payment is 3,526 bucks. Buyer's monthly payment today, $8,400. But wages went up. People have cash now. Yeah, it's crazy. And now the home is worth a million plus, which is just crazy, dude. I'm just glad like we bought this house and it wasn't super expensive when we bought it. Bro, like I like poker. I'm not lie about having terminal stuff to play poker though. I'm gonna be in the World Series poker main event next year. I told Carol, I was like, look, I'll go to Michigan this year. But next year, I'm freaking going to the main event, dude. All right. Dude, everybody. Yeah, man. I'm looking at everybody's getting mad at BitBoy. All right, let me catch back up on the chat here. What's up, team? Oh, the music is off. My bad, guys. I've been sitting here rocking out the music. Sorry, I know I'm leaving you guys there in silence. My apologies. Thank you. Thank you, Pawn. Appreciate it, dude. Yeah, let's get the timer up. All right, so we got, let's see, it's 6:48 market time. We got an hour and 42 minutes. Boom. Math on point. Hour and 41 minutes and a half minutes. It costs 10,000, Steve. It costs 10K. Yeah, I'm not spending 100K. I don't have that much money, dude. 100K, dude? You think I got 100K to spend on a poker tournament, brother? I could throw 10K into it next year. Not 100 though. 100 is a little up there. Don't put that negativity in the world, V. Don't put that negativity in the world, bro. You know. Home prices come down once everyone loses them. Yeah. Bubbles usually pop, but there's such a demand for homes that even if prices come down a little, we have a shortage again in no time. All right, guys. So, yeah. Dylan Dennis or Logan Paul? Who do you got? Apple is exploring launching a built-in stock trading platform on iPhones. All right, so Jamie Dimon visited Detroit 10 years ago. Or no, Jamie Dimon recently visited Detroit. It marks 10 years since their investment into the city, JP Morgan's investment. Aiden Ross lied. Yeah, I'm looking at some stuff. Anyways, dude. All right, guys. So market's down. Is there any dip buys here? Like, again, I might start adding to some stuff today, but it's going to be a little bit. It's going to take maybe some, like, averaging into some of these positions. I'll probably start adding to... I'll probably start adding to, like, I'm green on Ford. Disney, I'm green on too. I might start adding to Amex. I might add it to Home Depot. I think I will. I took some off on Home Depot yesterday. So the way it worked is I bought some shares and then I sold some shares. Oh, I can't buy anything right now. I got to wait until 6. It's still pretty early. We still got 7 minutes until I can actually cover this. Have penny stocks been running, man? I see a lot of people talking about penny stocks running. Yeah, I mean, politics is such a nuanced thing. When the penny stock gurus start focusing on FOMC, you know they see us getting some attention here. You know, honestly, yesterday was one of our largest FOMC streams ever. Like we had like 5,000 people here for the FOMC meeting. We got like 40,000 views for it. It was really one of our largest FOMC streams. It was kind of chaos in the chat because we had 5,000 people here live, but it was fun. And yeah. All right, so Larry Ellison at Oracle Cloud World 2023 said, quote, coming soon, very soon in the next 12 months, complete self-driving cars from Tesla. I agree. Honestly, this is what I've been telling my daughter, right? My daughter's worried about parallel parking. And I'm just like, look, kid, okay? You don't have to worry about that at all, right? Like in 5 years, you're not going to need to parallel park. You don't need to parallel park now. We bought a relatively new, we bought a new luxury SUV. Right, I'm not going to say what kind it is. Right, over the last year or two, we bought a new luxury SUV. Right, it parallel parks itself. I mean, I'm too scared to actually use it, but I remember distinctly when the dude sold it to us that he said, "Hey, this thing will parallel park itself. You got to put it in parallel mode or whatever it is, and it will literally and parallel park itself." And so with that, you know, the future is going to be self-driving. Which I think is good because honestly, teenagers can't freaking drive, bro. Like my daughter's going to be driving in the next few years. And the first thing me and my wife tell her is like, yo, you cannot drive my son. You know, you cannot drive our son. Jack ain't riding with you. Because again, my parents didn't let me ride with my sister. I have an older sister. My parents never let me ride with her, especially when she was 16. And so that ain't happening. But if cars drive themselves, I trust that a little bit more than a teenager driving. You know, because to be honest, man, especially nowadays, bro, like it was bad when I was a kid. Nowadays, dude, iPhones and smartphones and texting is just so much more prevalent that it's sketchy, in my opinion. And kids have no impulse control, right? Like they get a text from a boy they like, and like they're just not even gonna pay attention, dude. Like, and that's the risk. Dude, look at the Mercedes Armadillo. Dude, how much is that thing, man? This thing's got to be like at least $1 million. Well, it got to be more than this, right? Yeah, 1.4 million. The Armadillo Conquistador. I mean, It's probably worth it. I agree, Straight Jacket. I think FSD is going to help for sure. Should I sell everything now and go 100% short on tech? I'm not. I mean, NVIDIA's all the way down to 415s already, and so you might be late. But I don't know. You cover the Bank of England rate decision. Yeah, is that today? Man, I'm late, dude. Yeah, the Bank of England left rate, or no, yeah, no. The Bank of England raised rates 25 basis points. Or no, they haven't dropped it yet. So they're expecting the Bank of England to raise rates 25 basis points. Here we go. It's about to drop right now. Let's see what it shows. All right, 5 seconds. We'll see if the Bank of England does. We'll see if it influences the market as well. Here's the SPY. Okay, no, they skipped. Bank of England skipped. They expected them to raise rates. They kept their rates at 5.25. So the Bank of England skipped, which is outside of expectations. They expected them to raise rates 25 basis points. They ended up skipping. And so again, the Bank of England the bank rate went from stayed at 5.25 versus an expected raise to 550. So so that's the Bank of England rate hike decision. So again, they skipped, paused, or whatever. And look, the market liked it. Here's NVIDIA. All right, so maybe we'll add a little bit to these positions now. Like, we're in Home Depot, but it's such a small trade. I don't want to add too much more to this. What else did I say I was going to consider adding to Amex? It's such a small Amex trade. I've got 25 shares of Amex. And so I might add a little bit now that it dipped because the rest of the market's down, you know. The question, what I'm worried about is NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA down to 416s is a big drop. Like, so if you look at NVIDIA here over a 20-day period, NVIDIA's had a tough time. SPY's liking the Bank of England rate decision, which is, again, a surprise skip. Still got an hour and a half before jobless claims and the rest of these numbers drop. Bro, I went to Benihana's yesterday. The problem with Benihana's is, bro, like halfway through I'm full, and then I just gotta sit there tired. So Ben Armstrong raised $200K in the past 24 hours. Sorry, my nose is stuffed up. Tesla's Model Y and Cybertruck production at the Giga Texas factory is likely to pause into the end of September. Yeah. All right, guys. So again, market's mostly down. The Bank of England surprise pause or skipped versus an expected rate hike of 25 basis points. Market is not really moving moving that much from it. We do have jobless claims and the Philly Fed manufacturing index dropping today. Jobless claims are expected at 225,000. Again, a higher than expected reading here means more people are filing for unemployment than expected. A lower than expected reading means less people are filing for unemployment, i.e., more economic growth. And depending on what the market wants, we'll see what happens. But Beverly Hills, man, they're saying it's not a ghost town. Honestly, like, this is the reality of it, right? Like, if you guys want to know the truth, people think that I'm like a permabull, right? That I only want the market to go up. And I do. I want the market to go up, right? But to be completely honest, this channel grows faster when the market's crazy down. Like every major, like, dude, in 2021, bro, when the market corrected, that was the biggest year I ever grew on this channel, right? We got more views then than ever. Again, if you look back at my views when the market's on fire, like on the downside, they're higher. And so, I mean, I'm going to be okay no matter what. But yeah, I hope the market goes up, I guess. I mean, I don't want to see the market go down. I know the market's going to go up long term, but yeah, so apparently Apple is not planning to do a stock app. That this post appeared in a report in 2020. They began exploring the idea of a new stock feature. They put although they put the plan on an indefinite pause last year, so they're just basically not going to do that. Yeah, so Aiden Ross getting some heat for a fake interview. Dude, is MMAT still around? Is MMAT still around? Like, is MMAT even still around? Didn't they, like... Okay, they are. They're 20 cents. Oof, tough time. Again, markets break it down a little bit. NVIDIA down to 414.30s. Yeah, he did. He broke a record for the most people leaving in one, which honestly, you kind of have to understand. I think it was a bad move on him. I think it was a bad move for Aiden. I don't think that was a good move at all. Like, I think that's a dumb move. He's going to hurt himself. Uh, People are going to be mad about it. All right, guys. Dang. All right. Where's Tesla at right now? How did Tesla do? I haven't even really looked at Tesla. Well, what happened to my charts? NVIDIA break it down more here. This is an hourly chart too. So like, look at this. This is gonna way mark it down. And the crazy thing is like NVIDIA is so strong right now from AI over the last year that this has given back a lot of the gains that it made. Look at this dip. Let's see if there's any news here, like any actual news. But look at, again, NVIDIA giving back a lot of the hype. All right, so AI complicates sustainability profiles of tech companies. Training AI-powered models requires high levels of energy and water consumption, but they can also be used to help offset greenhouse gas emissions and control water consumption by making systems more efficient. Energy management and water and wastewater management aren't considered financially material for the tech and communication sector, although it contains most AI-focused companies. Among the 10 largest companies in the Wisdom Tree Artificial Intelligence and Innovation Index, Microsoft and Alphabet led in energy management, while NVIDIA, Meta, and Microsoft are among the leaders for water and wastewater management. So interesting here, looking at the sustainability of some of these AIs. But look at NVIDIA dip down. It's at 413s now, but basically 413s. This is going to drag everything else down, I think, right? NVIDIA dumping. Like, honestly, if we dip enough, it might be time for me to buy the dip. I think we will. We're going to try buying 10 shares at the bottom right here. 10 shares. Although, again, we're kind of catching a falling knife here. I'm not trying to be dumb, but that's what we're going to try. 10 shares, very small. Is Michael Burry right? I mean, again, guys, like a lot of you guys should understand how to look at a long-term chart. This is this year. You know, again, the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. See, I told you so. Like confirmation bias. Look up what confirmation bias is, guys. And, you know, you'll understand what I'm telling you. All right. Like, listen, I'm not saying we don't crash, but we're certainly not there yet. Certainly not there yet. You know, one red day doesn't equal crash. That's silly. Again, we're not even under the last month's lows. If we look at the market here, yeah, we're not even under the last month's lows. which were here, which were at 434s on the SPY. You know what I mean? So again, let's not sensationalize the markets here, guys. We're not there yet. Yeah, I mean, it could continue to dump hard. I mean, that's certainly possible. I'm not saying it doesn't. What I'm saying is that we're definitely not there yet. Again, like, you got to look at a long-term chart here. Look, here's a yearly chart, right? So this is just this year, okay? Again, this is the market, guys. Like, this is this year. Or this is the last 52 weeks, like the last year. All right, so, like, we're still higher than we were back in August. Now, a crash would be this. You know what I mean? That would be considered a crash. And that is not nowhere near where we're at now. And again, I'm not saying we don't hit that. I'm just saying we're definitely not there yet. I heard GTP5 is coming soon in the next year. Yeah, that's nice. Let me see my OpenAI. All right, NVIDIA bounced. Hey, we're green on NVIDIA. We'll see if we can hold it. NVIDIA bounced. Okay. Bro, how do I always get this wrong, dude? Okay, so what my other thing was. Let's see. Here, bear with me, team. All right, guys, so we got NVIDIA bouncing up a little bit here. Freaking reset my password. All right, sorry, I'm trying to log into ChatGPT to play around with this. There we go, we're finally in. I don't want to. I'm logged in. All right. Sorry, team. I gotta go all the way back here. OpenAI. Log in. Managed account. Pricing. Sorry, guys, bear with me here. I'm trying to figure, like, I'm dealing with APIs. All right, here, I'm going to have to. Sorry, I'm adding money. I'm dealing with APIs and software in the back end here, so my bad, guys. Again, we got like about an hour and 15 minutes until the market. Drops jobless claims numbers and the Philly Fed Index. The Philly Fed Index is manufacturing data, and that comes out today. That might influence things more. We're slightly green on our NVIDIA trade, although, again, it's very slight. So very slightly green. All right, guys. So again, we're slightly green in NVIDIA. I don't know if I want to add more. There we go. All right, finally got it. Catching back up on the chat here. Yeah, I mean, Powell basically gave no definitive answers yesterday. They asked him if he was going to raise rates again this year. He said he didn't know. He asked him if we were going to hit a recession this year or next. They said he didn't know. Basically, he said a lot of I don't knows yesterday. Hey, what's up? What's up, Cat? 2.5 mil in cash, or $12K a month starting at age 52. 2.5 million in cash, easily, Cap, easily. Okay, 12K a month is a bad move. All right, there's a lot of stuff wrong with it. And again, 12K a month. It's kind of like when you win the lottery, right? Like when you win the lottery hopes you're dumb enough to take the monthly payments. They are hoping you're dumb enough to take the monthly payments. The reason they hope that is because even if you're losing 30%, right, on the lump sum, right? Say you win the lottery for 500 million, right? And you lose half of that. Let's just say half of that in the lump sum, right? So you only get 250 million, bro. If you just take 100 million and you stick it into the markets, if you put 100 million into the S&P 500, and if you put 100 million into the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, gold, real estate, and you diversified into all of those things in bonds, right? And you put 100 million into all those things, not 100 million in each, but 100 million total into all those different things. Within 10 years, you would have way more than the original payment. You would have way more. That 100 million would turn into like 500 million, and it would be the equivalent of you getting the entire lump sum payment, and so, yeah, they hope you take because again, there's no definitive proof that you're going to be around to get those payments, right? Something can happen to you tomorrow and they're going to say, well, we only had to pay him $12,000, when he won the lottery for, 500 million. Again, people want security, and that's what they pander to, and they hope people are dumb enough to take the monthly payments. Same thing with the million. So $2.5 million, bro. You take $1 million and you stick it in the S&P. You're just going to make much more than that over time. And so you got to understand compounding and how much you can make over time in the market, Again, SPY's still breaking down. We are green in NVIDIA right now, though. Yeah, so again, if anybody ever asks you if you want monthly payments or a lump sum, you always take the lump sum. You can stick it in bonds, which are guaranteed returns And within 20 years, you're going to make what the original payment was plus more. And so don't be dumb enough to take the monthly payments. They hope you are, right? They genuinely hope you're dumb enough to take those. And again, this is not just my own opinion, right? Like, this is just the reality of it. These are facts, right? Like, this is just the reality and what the average return would be if you did what I just said, right? This is not arguable either. And people might get weird, but like, this is not arguable. You got to understand life happens and you may not have 10 years to wait for that return. I understand, CT, but again, you just argued against your argument, right? And so again, let me give you some math here, brother. Right, life happens and you might not have 10 years. So if you got 10 years or less, bro, you're just going to make $12,000 a month. $12K a month. Look, $12K a month is $144,000 a year, bro. In 10 years, that's going to be less than the $2.5 million. That's going to be $1.4 million, right? In 10 years, so again, it's going to take you 20 years to make the $2,500 or a little bit. You're going to have a little bit over that, but to make anywhere around there, almost 20 years, and so that's what you're missing here is that life happens, man. And they hope that, again, they genuinely hope. The lottery hopes. You can look this up. They hope you take the monthly payments, right? Because again, if you take the lump sum and you diversify in investments, and you don't have to do all of it either. Like, say you win 100 million, right? You don't have to take the full 100 million and stick it into investments. You could take 25 million and stick it in investments and then live off the other 75 and then still have more than you would taking the monthly payments. And so again, you got to understand what their goal is there and how much prices change over time is the big thing to understand. Like, listen, in 20 to 30 years, inflation is going to happen, and so prices are going to go up over the next 20 or 30 years, right? Like, it's not like it's giving you crazy gains. It's just keeping up with inflation. No, you don't invest all of it, man. Again, you invest half of it and you're still going to do better, right? You get 100 million, you invest 50 million, live off the other 50 million. Or by that logic, if you get 2.5 million, then you take 1.5 million, you stick it in the market. You take the other million and you live off of it. Then you have both, and that $1.5 million over time is going to grow. Yeah, I asked Bing, if you stick 100 million in bonds for guaranteed 4% in 20 years, you double to 200 million. Exactly. That's exactly my point. And so they hope you take the monthly payments. And again, bonds are guaranteed returns. Anyways. Who has 20 years? I mean, CT, man, I'm not sure if you're just trying to argue, bro, but listen, if you go by your logic, right? And so again, say you win 200 million, you take 100 million, you stick it in the market, you're going to get the full money back that you would. And then if you get $12,000 a month, that's nothing, man. $12,000 a month, bro. That's less than I make now. Like, that's nothing. I mean, I'm not saying it's nothing. Okay, I'm talking about relative to millions that you would get. Again, it's y'all do whatever y'all want. Again, I think people don't understand the mathematics behind it. Is what it is, and that's all right, and it's all good. Again, what I'm telling you is, like, if you ever win the lottery, again, they are hoping you take the monthly payments. They are genuinely, like, fingers crossed that you're going to take the monthly payments. Because you're going to save them so much money if you do. Because what they're going to do, like, think about it like this, right? What they are going to do if you take the monthly payments is they're going to take your lump sum and they're going to invest it. And they're going to say, this sucker, we can sit on his money for 20 years. We only got to pay him, what, $140,000 a year? What? Oh, they're going to be loving life, man. They'll take that lump sum, they'll stick it in the market, they'll stick it in bonds, and they'll make everything back, and they'll just ride off into the sunset. I'm telling you, that's what they're hoping. They're hoping you take the monthly payments. And again, I think people want security, and so they overestimate the type of security that's going to give them out of just fear. But that's what it is. And anyways, again, we're in NVIDIA. We're slightly green. We bought the dip. So Senator Bob Menendez allegedly took bribes in gold bars. Could you make more than 12,500 a month with the millions in interest? Okay, so let's calculate that, right? So you got what? 2.5 million is what he said, right? So 2.5 million. Say you make 10% a year, right, in interest. You're gonna make $250,000 a year just in interest on the $2.5 million, right? And so you don't even have to compound it. You could just take it out every year and still make more than you would if you got the monthly payments. That's my point. Now, it's not going to be as consistent. It's not going to happen every year. But over the long run, when you zoom out 10, 20 years, then it definitely is. And so, again, that's the math behind it. All right, guys. Again, NVIDIA bounced it up. We're slightly green. Slightly green. We are taking fast. Yeah, I mean, the SPY is dipped. Again, NVIDIA is what's dragging it down, guys. So NVIDIA is what's dragging it down. The Bank of England did announce a surprise skip or pause in rate hikes. They expected them to raise rates 25 basis points, and they ended up pausing instead. And so that kind of shocked the market a little bit. But again, what's weighing on markets, guys, is microchips. NVIDIA down big. NVIDIA down from 417s all the way down to 412s this morning at the open. And that comes with yesterday's big pullback all the way from 450s, 440s, all the way down to 410s right now, team. So NVIDIA has dropped over the last few days from 450s basically all the way down to 410s. That's a pretty big percentage drop if you look at it. We ended up buying the dip because it's down so much. And so I don't mind buying this little dip right now in NVIDIA. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it's all good there. Yeah, so again, we'll see if it holds. SPY still trying to break down here. We got less than an hour before jobless claims in the Philly Fed Index. FOMC meeting yesterday basically tanked the markets. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped, man. Yesterday was one of our largest FOMC streams we've ever done. All right. Again, still our entry is 512 or 412.77 on NVIDIA. Again, we bought this little dip. We're slightly red on it now. We got a little uptrend here. Again, watch the SPY. Here's the Q. Here's the NASDAQ. We're at 361s. Yeah, the chat's always crazy. Pawn during those big streams, man. Those big streams where we got thousands and thousands of people here. A lot of people don't realize how many people show up here for the economic reports, right? So like we stream every day, right? Every morning. And so in that regard, like, we dilute the channel a little bit when we stream every day. A lot of other big channels, they only stream during the major reports, and it makes them look more successful than they are. But regardless, we stream every day, right? And we want to stream every day because, I mean, I cover the market every day. I'm going to watch the market no matter what. And so I might as well stream it. But yeah, during these big reports, like the FOMC meeting, again, we get thousands and thousands of people here. And again, it was chaos, man. Like gold traders show up in force, man. So many people. Where's gold at? What's gold going to do? And speaking of gold, here's gold right here. Gold currently sitting at 1940. At 1940. So big dip after the FOMC meeting, mostly following the market. Again, you can kind of see NVIDIA starting to pop up a little bit. So it's a bear flag on NVIDIA, maybe. Again, we can all give out predictions, and that's fine, right? As long as you don't pressure people to do one thing. Like I said, a lot of the time people really pressure, and they might be right. Again, they might be right, but again, I see so many people wrong about what they pressure people to do. Like people will be like, sell now, the market's gonna go up, sell now, and then the market goes down, and they'll be like, buy now, the market's gonna, rip up, and then the market tanks, and so just don't pressure people to do anything. You can give out predictions and say, hey, I think X is gonna happen. That's fine. Just don't say, hey, you better do this now because X is gonna happen. That's not fine. It ends up hurting people's trades, is what it does. And so again, just a heads up, if you do it, I'm going to give you a warning. If you do it again, I'm going to ban you. And again, we're green on NVIDIA. Look at this rise in NVIDIA. So we're up about $1 a share now on our 10 shares. So we'll take it. We'll see if it goes up more. Again, the market's down so much, especially with NVIDIA, that like I think a little dip by here makes sense. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. All right, team. Gold dipped like crazy yesterday. Yeah, the whole market dipped like crazy yesterday, to be honest. So like everything kind of did. Let's try this one. Possible reversal if unemployment is bad, right? I mean, we don't know. We don't know how the market... Jobless claims is relatively small of a report. It drops weekly, and so it's relatively small of a report. The Philly Fed Index is manufacturing strength or weakness, and that'll be interesting to watch too. SPY bouncing up and then reversing a little bit. Again, we're in NVIDIA small. Do you know how much is the market down in the past 2 months? I don't think the market's down in the past 2 months. Let me see. Okay, actually, yeah, the market's slightly down. It depends on where you look at it, though. If you look at a 3-month period, the market's green. And so I think sometimes bearish traders like to isolate like the one period of time where the market's red. But again, like, yes, if you look at July 21st, 2 months ago, yes, the market is down. If you look at June 21st, the market's nicely green. You know, if you look at May 21st, the market's very green. You know, you look at April 21st, the market's really, really green. And then if you look at March 21st, SPY was under 400 March 21st. So, yeah. It was a bad call. Should have just raised rates, as the market is acting like you did anyway. Yeah, I mean, the market's definitely down from these reports. Yeah, I mean, September slump is not a fake thing. Like, it's the reason the September slump is not fake is because it's just looking at data. Like, the data is very red in September generally. Like, the S&P 500 loses on average, I believe, a 1%. I think it's like 1.4% drop on average in September for the S&P 500. So, yeah, September slump is real. And again, we might take this opportunity now when we got a little bit over a week left of the month to start kind of averaging into some dips. Because generally, like, the market's weak in September, and then the market's strong in October, November, and December, and January. The strongest historical months of the market, and the months in which the market has the most volatility and liquidity and interest, are the fall and winter months. So October, November, December, January are the busiest and most volatile and good months of the market. Those are the busiest months, and it makes sense why, like, looking at the economics behind it, the holidays, Thanksgiving, Xmas, all that stuff happens. So what's your take on the dollar index? Is it going to make new high? No, not right now, at least. Here's the Dixie here on the left. New high on the Dixie would be 115. It's not making new highs anytime soon, I think. Yeah, the dollar index is just going to go up with the market going down. That's just kind of how it goes. If you hold the S&P 500 through expiration, is it cash settled when it closes? Expiration of what? The S&P 500 is a broad market, like ETF or index fund, so it doesn't expire. It's been around. If you look at the S&P 500, here's the SPX, right? If you look at this thing has been around since the 1927. So yeah, I mean, it's not expiring. Maybe you're talking about options. That's possible. 0 day till expiry options. I'm not sure, man. I don't really mess with those that much, brother. And you can look at like the NDX, which is the NASDAQ 100. It's been around since the 80s. You can look at the futures contracts behind all of these. So, like, you can look at the E-mini, the S&P 500 futures. Of course, they're down. You can look at the NASDAQ futures contract. Of course, they're down too. Again, NVIDIA is one I'm really watching. Tesla is one I'm interested in. Tesla down to 250s again. Just big volatility on these the last few days. Again, we are in NVIDIA and we are green. You see our NVIDIA trade. We bought the dip. We got in basically around the lows. Look at that, 412.70s. Or maybe not. We got in here. But I still like the dip by entry. All right, guys. Hey, we are green in NVIDIA. We'll see if it keeps rising higher. We'll see if it keeps moving up. Again, I don't know if it will or not. But All right, so we got this uptrend. We'll see what NVIDIA does at the volume weighted average price. Again, it's down so much. That's the reason I'm buying it. We'll see if the S&P 500, the SPY bounces here. You can see it way down here at 435s. Good morning, John. Any tips on how to save up money to build the trading funds account? I mean, not really. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, again, I've talked about this before and people get kind of weird. But like, listen, if you want to fund your trading account, like there's only a couple ways to do it. Number one is either save up money at the job you have. If you're not making enough money in the job you have, then find another job or find another hustle. Those are the two main ways to do it. And I think a lot of people rush. Like a lot of people really want to trade. But the problem with that is like, listen, trading is very difficult. Most traders lose money. And one thing that kills profit is too much pressure, right? You got too much pressure on you to succeed. It's going to be really hard to succeed, ironically enough. And so, again, the thing to understand is that, look, trading is a luxury of those who have money. If you do not have that much money, if you are really, you just want to be careful because a lot of people are like addicted to gambling. And if you're trading with, like, if you don't have much money and you're spending all the money you do have trading, you're probably not going to make money doing so. Because again, like in order to really trade comfortably, you need to be comfortable. Like you can't take all the money you have and stick it into a trading account and expect to trade without emotion. You know, that's generally never going to happen. Like you're going to be super emotional about those trades. You're going to be more desperate to make money. You're going to hold your losses too long. You're going to add to your, you're going to cut your winning trades too short. Like there's just going to be so much pressure on you to succeed if you don't have that much money that it's going to be very difficult to make money. And so if you have like a low paying job or if you don't have that much money, do not trade with, I say this all the time, if you're broke, do not day trade. I know they market to new traders as like a get rich quick scheme where you're just going to, show everybody how smart you are and trade stocks. And everybody will be like, wow, look how smart John is. He's trading stocks, and you're going to just turn $1,000 into 100K in 6 weeks if you got this great trading system. Total fugazi nonsense, just total BS, right? They're just trying to sell you a course. The reality of it is it's very difficult to make money. If you're learning to trade, you're probably going to lose in the first few years that you trade. Some people never make money. And so you can either, learn how to make more money or you can find something else to do because, again, it's just, and I'm not trying to discourage people. I'm trying to tell people the truth, and that's the truth. UK announced delaying net zero, so the UK market will start to be positive again very soon. Maybe. All right. What are your thoughts on PayPal right now? Let me take a look at it. I'm in PayPal, I think. Yeah, I'm in PayPal. But I'm in PayPal. I took profit, and then we're sitting on a small piece of it. NVIDIA with a really big red candle and then a really big retracement candle back up. That's a weird candle, but it hit lows of 412s and then it popped all the way back up to where it was. Very strange movement on NVIDIA. PayPal down a lot, but it's mostly just down because the rest of the market is down. I think PayPal is going to be fine as a company. I'm not sure where it's going to go short term. Short term, anything could happen with it, so just be careful. Any data releases today? Yeah, we got jobless claims, the Philly Fed index data dropping in 45 minutes or so. All right, so yeah, jobless claims are expected at 225. The Philly Fed index is expected at minus 0.7. Yeah, minus 0.7. That is the report right there, the expectations. Yeah, y'all hit the like button. 70 likes. Come on now. My nose is running, man. All right, there we go. That's better. Nothing gets me more mad than realizing if I held the put for a little longer, I have way more money. Yeah, but as you get experience, Julian, and I'm not sure how much experience you have, but like you stop worried about that as much. Like FOMO doesn't really affect you that much when you gain experience. Like you really have to get yourself out of like a gambling mindset. I'm not saying you're a gambler, brother. I understand that making you frustrated. It makes me frustrated too. Okay, so I'm not saying that you're gambling or whatever. What I'm saying is like a lot of traders have like a gambling mindset in which it's like everything they miss, they get upset about. You know, I used to know some traders that every freaking thing that they would miss, they would be mad about, they would be angry about, and they would just be super frustrated all the time, and it was just not good for trading. Once you really get your reps in and trading, and you do it day in and day out, you stop worrying about it. Like there's always another opportunity, like the next day. You know, there's always another opportunity to make money. There's always a new day, and like there's no reason to be upset if you miss anything, because again, the market really does. Again, as Mark Twain famously said, the market might not repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. And yeah. Hey, what's up, Jose? Thanks, man. So yeah, jobless claims, which is how many people are filing for unemployment, do drop. Buy or sell gold? I don't know. Where's Disney at today? It's down slightly, but our average is 81s, so I mean, we're still green. Was Powell hawkish yesterday? I would say he was somewhere in the middle. I don't think he really was either one. I think he was pretty flat yesterday. He was really hesitant to make big, bold predictions. And so we're going to do a poll here. All right, so what jobless claims in the Philly Fed Index help or hurt markets? Vote on that poll. Poll is live. All right, guys, we still got 40 minutes or so until the data release. Yeah, if you can't afford to lose the entire account and still be okay, you shouldn't trade. Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than that. I think if you can't laugh at a $500 loss, you shouldn't be trading, because that's gonna happen. Again, yeah, you got to be okay with losing your entire account and be fine. I think to a certain level, right? Like my account's 60K. I don't want to lose that. You know, I'm not saying I would be hurt if I lost it. Like I would still be fine, but I definitely would not be in a good mood from it. I might take a long break from trading if I lost all that, because that just means I did something really wrong. We don't know if it was a pause or skip. Somebody's asking if it was a pause or skip. We really don't know. We're not going to know whether it's a pause or skip until the next cycle. So again, most people still think, like if we look at the CME watch tool, yeah, so looking at the CME watch tool, it's pretty split down the middle in terms of what we're going to do for the next thing. So most people think we're going to pause next meeting as well. So in that case, it's a pause, right? So if we don't raise rates in November, then it's a pause. If we do raise rates in November, then it was a skip. All right, so look at the SPY crack and start testing lows. SPY down to 435.30 is testing lows now. What's up, Jonathan? If you play blue chips and never sell for a loss, you won't lose. Yeah, that's true. Cisco breaking down here. Yeah, look at Cisco weakness. I don't know if it's just microchip sympathy or what, but look at Cisco crack. Oh, did they have earnings yesterday? Let's see. Cisco is going to buy Splunk in a $28 billion deal. So that's what this is. So they're going to acquire Splunk for $157 a share in cash, representing $28 billion in equity. So that's what this is. They're buying Splunk. Symbol SPLK. Again, here's the Q. You look at the NASDAQ here. It's down to 360s. All right, so we get NVIDIA up to 413s. Can you find some support on the SPY and Q on the daily basis? Maybe we can look. I would say the major support is at 355. So on the Q, we also have some other levels here. Again, I have no idea what we're gonna hold. 360s, 355. I have no idea if we're gonna hold these levels or not. I'm just throwing these levels out there. Not an investment professional, not liable if you lose. No idea. Might be wildly wrong. Don't sue me. Obviously, the high of the Q. That's what I see. 375 might be like a psychological level there too. So 375, 360, 355. And then of course underneath 350 makes sense. I like looking at whole numbers, but that's just me. Q just cracked lows. Look at Q breaking down here. Still in that negative downward trend. What's your suggestion on buying real estate if you know the margin is slim on renting in your area? So what margin are you talking about? Are you talking about like the 1% rule? Where you should shoot for 1% of the value of the home and rent every month? I don't know if the 1% rule really is going to work real estate wise anymore. So like, I mean, I guess you could find 1% stuff. You know, so you get a $200,000 home. It's going to be hard to rent out a $200,000 home for $2K a month is the only thing, right? But I would just look for good deals. I would try to stick to the 1% rule. But again, that's just me, which means like, again, the 1% rule means you gotta get 1% per month in rent back on the home price. So if the home price is $250K, you gotta shoot for $2,500. And it doesn't have to be exact. Like you could probably go with 2,000, but again, you just got to be really selective right now. If you pay cash, undershoot, like put in offers under list and see if they'll accept, and then just shoot for that 1% rule. Got to go off ROI. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, Nathan. What I'm saying is ROI. We dropped 2.5% on the NQ. Yeah, we're down probably about 2.5%. They halted Splunk. Yeah, Splunk's getting acquired by Cisco. Chill. So it's getting acquired by Cisco. Is the economy failing right now? No. Again, guys, y'all want to be sure not to sensationalize the market. Like, bearish traders really want bearish action, right? But again, if you zoom out and you look at a yearly chart, this is the year. The drops that we are in right now, guys. Again, that is the drop from yesterday. This is the year. That is the drop. And so I'm not saying we don't crash. I'm saying we're not there yet, guys. Like, we're not there yet. Like, the market's not going to go straight up. It needs to pull back some. The general flow of the market is going to look like this. Right? Like, that's what the general flow is going to look like. You got to be careful, too, because bearish traders will say, the economy's failing. The market is crashing. It's the end of the world. Every pullback. It's not. Just chill. Market's up huge on the year. It's just September. September on average is a losing month. It's pretty expected. Everybody kind of expected it today. Do you think the market overreacted to Fomc yesterday? I mean, no. I mean, I don't know. Powell was pretty neutral on everything. He was really apprehensive to give definitive answers. And so he's pretty neutral. They asked him if he thought they would raise rates again this year. He said he didn't know. They asked him if we would hit a recession next year. He said he didn't know. Right? They said they were going to take a data-dependent approach and go cycle by cycle and then reanalyze each cycle to see what they want to do. Right? So he was very hesitant to give out definitive answers in anything he said. So I would go with neutral yesterday. And I think maybe people were preparing for like a bullish or dovish thing. But just to put it in perspective, the Fed came out and said they do not expect us to hit a recession. Said they do not think we're going to hit a recession. And they actually came out saying that they think that we are going to do a very soft landing. Let me show you guys this. So again, watch your guru. Let me find this. All right, so yeah, so the Fed says it's confident the U.S. can avoid a recession. The Federal Reserve says they don't see a recession until at least 2027. To read in more of this, according to new projections by the Fed, though, not only does it see improvements in the current economy, it's also confident that the United States is going to avoid a recession and do a very soft landing. They said the U.S. banking system is sound and resilient. They expect the economy to grow 2.1% this year. This is more than twice as fast as what they projected in June of this year. And so, again, we're not in a recession. They think we're going to have a very smooth landing. They see no recession until at least 2027 and a very smooth landing, is the quote the Fed put out. Look, so look at this quote. So here's the quote from the Fed. Now, of course, the bears are going to say, "Nah, that's not true." But that's what they said. Again, that's what the Fed said. Again, the market's mostly dipping from NVIDIA, I think, right? I think NVIDIA is weighing on the markets. Yeah, it's just September, guys. And again, anything we can speculate on what they think the Fed meant, but you can read the Fed's quote down here. It says the Fed says they see no recession until at least 2027 and a very smooth landing. I hope they're right. I'm not saying they are right, but you say you don't hate the Bears, but you do. I don't hate the Bears, man. I might disagree with the Bears, but like I really don't hate them. You know, the reason I disagree with a lot of them again is because I see again, like you have to understand me running a YouTube channel, right? So like me running a YouTube channel, bro. And again, I'm gonna tell you this: Bears generally are very toxic, right? And they refuse to let go of their bets. And so again, you got to understand me personally. Like if we put up a weekly chart, to a certain extent, I've seen the same bearish traders tell me the market is going to crash, and they've been saying it since way back here when the SPY was at 350. You know, they've been saying it back here since the SPY was at 390, and they've been saying it over and over again for the last year straight. And so again, I don't hate the Bears. Like Bears probably make up a decent percentage of this channel. What I will say is like, I'm okay with being bearish, right? If you're bearish, that's okay. I understand everybody's bearish sometimes, to be honest, right? But you don't want to be, again, there's so much bias on that end, you know, where it's like, again, it comes from either politics, right? So some of them just want to watch the world burn. Some of them are against the current administration and they want the economy to fail to show how bad the current administration is. Some of them are just watching the news 24/7. And of course, the news needs clicks. And so the news really sensationalizes things. Some of them want the market to go down because they're desperate for interest rates to drop. And so they want interest rates to go down with the market. And so in order to get mortgage rates to go down, you know, they need the market to go down. You know, once the market goes down, interest rates generally follow suit. And so there's a lot of bias there. And there's a lot of bias in my end on the long side too. But again, the reason I keep saying this stuff is because, again, I've seen a lot of people say the market was going to crash a year ago, and the market's up almost 20% this year. And they pressure people. They say, sell now, sell now. The market's going to end. We're in a recession, all this different stuff. That's just not true. It's just not true. Even if they want it to be true, right? It's just not yet, at least. And I don't know if that's necessarily healthy for traders. But anyways, NVIDIA bounced it up. We got in pretty close to the lows here. We got in at 412s on NVIDIA. I don't know if I'm going to take profit. I think I'll probably just sit on it. And if we reject on the view up, we can get out pretty close to break even. Yeah, I feel you. I don't trust them either. But what I've noticed, guys, is really like when everybody's short, when everybody's telling everybody the market's going to crash, generally we do the opposite. And so when I see people pressuring people to sell, pressuring people that the market's going to crash, I generally think we're going to do the opposite. And the market can be contrarian too. Yeah, it's all good, Corey. Again, it doesn't have to be the Bloods and Crips, though. Like, y'all don't have to hate me because I take the opposing side and I tell people we don't have to crash. And again, if you look back at what I've been saying, I've been absolutely right about the market, right? Like I told people a year ago we didn't have to crash when everybody was saying we were going to. And again, if you're looking at that objectively, you know, bearish traders, y'all know I was right. Like, y'all know I was right. I was saying we didn't have to crash when the SPY was at 350, when everybody thought the market was in for a rude awakening. All the big time YouTubers were posting, we're going to crash videos, getting all these clicks, talking everybody into this big crash theory. And then a year later, we're up 20%, you know? And so all I will ask is just be objective. Hey, thanks, Corey. Maybe I should have taken some off of NVIDIA right here. NVIDIA pulling back a little bit. Again, the SPY's still up pretty big. You know, and I guess the other reason is like, it's not that I'm against bears. I think retail traders, especially like young, naive, new retail traders, they miss out on the biggest, most profound edge the market gives them because they're following these big influencers who are constantly telling people the market was going to crash, like throughout years of time. And a lot of them don't like me because of this, because I've been right about it. But again, they're constantly telling people the market is in an never-ending, ever-long state of just crashing inevitability, you know. And so they're missing out. Like the biggest edge you ever get is on the long side, long term, in index funds, right? You put money in the S&P, you put money in the NASDAQ, you put money in gold. Over time, you're going to make money. It's not an argument. It's going to happen over time. If you hold it long enough, you're going to make money. And that's a big edge. And that's a big edge a lot of young retail traders miss out on because they're too busy trying to look cool, betting on stock market crashes. You know, and so my job as my job as somebody that has a following is to snap people out of that logic. And I'll tell them, look, we could crash. You just got to wait for it to happen. Like if I had to take one side, if I had to bet on a market crash or bet on the market not crashing, I would constantly bet the market doesn't crash, because in terms of like the odds there, it's just so much more probable that the market doesn't crash. And crashes are very difficult to predict. They're not easy to predict at all. When everybody thinks the market's going to crash, generally we do the opposite. And so again, I'm just trying to help traders. No, Chris. No, I don't. Yeah, SPY's still testing these lows. Again, we got 20 minutes jobless claims, the Philly Fed Index. And again, you can look at Burry as the prime example of this, right? So like Burry 8 months ago, ahead of the FOMC meeting, told everybody to sell. Said sell, was very cryptic, told everybody to sell, told everybody the market was going to crash. And then before the FOMC meeting happened, I told people, hey, I wouldn't listen to Burry. And then the market did not crash. The market ended up ripping up like 5%. And then Burry deleted his Twitter and, you know, basically had to come out and apologize months later. You know, and so when you see stuff like that day in and day out, again, as somebody that runs a channel, it does chip away at my bias. And it just shows me like, hey, bearish traders are emotional. You know, again, I'm emotional too. Okay. I think everybody here knows that. Definitely top 3 most emotional people ever. But I digress. Anyways, and I like Burry too. Big Short's one of my favorite movies. Dude, I want to make money. No, water's wet, Will. $5,400 on the S&P? No, I don't think we hit 5,400, dude. Not anytime soon, at least. I mean, look, so $5,400 on the S&P would be freaking here, bro. I mean, maybe. I hope so. I hope you're right. I don't know. Not anytime soon, I don't think. No, Chris, I haven't. I keep adding to real estate investment trusts. Good luck, man. A lot of people think we're in a real estate bubble, and I could kind of agree with that. I don't know, though. But I can kind of agree on the bubble potential. All right, guys. Hey, we got 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Yeah, let's see what the Astros do. How do you add to contract to average down your entry? I never had to do this before. Any direction can help. Are you talking about options, Davey? Again, I have no idea, bro. I'm not an options trader like that. I really don't know how you average into options. We are getting a pop in the SPY. Look at the SPY back up to 435.20s. NVIDIA back up there too. If he gave reasoning behind his actions, then I could get on board 100%. But just saying, yeah, market is going to get wrecked is not helpful. Yeah, I mean, you can tell Burry is so biased by what he went through in 08. And again, to his credit, I might be too if I was him, man. Again, he was accurate in 2008. He was just correct, and he put big bets on it, and everybody made fun of him. You know, everybody insulted him. Everybody made fun of him. Big banks hated him and made fun of him. Everybody shamed him for taking those bets, including his own friends and investors, right? And then it turns out in the end that he was right, and he ended up making billions and billions of dollars from shorting the mortgage market in 2008, right? And so I think when that happens, like if you're somebody that happens to, I think of course that's going to create a wild amount of bias against skeptics, right? And so again, in his mind, he said, hey, well, they doubted me in 08, they doubted me in 07, and I proved them wildly wrong, and they're doubting me now, right? The issue is that Burry has predicted like 20 crashes in the last 10 years, you know, or something like that. Like he's predicted a wild amount of crashes, and he's been wildly wrong. Like he's predicted a crash every year, basically, for the last 10, 15 years. And so I think, like, I get his bias, but I think at this point in time, I think it's hard for him to look at things objectively. I think it's hard for him to look at things objectively. But again, he knows, I mean, he's a much richer man than I. So props to Burry. I like Burry. Genius dude. Really smart dude. All right, guys. Hey, we got 15 minutes. I don't know what today's going to be, Yule. I genuinely have no idea. Nobody knows if today's going to be red or green, brother. I mean, I'm guessing green because the market's down so much, but it ultimately depends on what jobless claims and Philly Fed Index show up in 15 minutes. What happens there with unemployment claims? That's going to influence the market too. But my guess is green because the market's down so much. But again, maybe that's my own bias. So. Did you swing anything? Yeah, I mean, I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm in about 26 trades right now in my account. But I'm constantly in a bunch of stuff. These are like swing trades, investments as well, dividend stocks and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm in a bunch of stuff. I'm in NVIDIA right now too. We're up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes, Chris. With finance discords, it's just how it is. I don't really put too much time in the Discord anymore. It's just hard to manage, you know. And again, running everything with Pawn definitely helps, but it's hard to run everything with just 2 people. It really is. And again, like I could go to Discord and slang call outs like sleazy people, but I'd rather just not be that guy. And again, so since I'm not being that way, it's going to be harder for me to grow in those platforms. And again, we get enough people here on YouTube to not worry about it. All right, guys, so we got about 500 people here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, team. We are going to throw this thing in sub-only mode. And so if you haven't already, announce yourself. Show us that you're subscribed. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Yeah, so I'm looking up some of this news. Okay, so U.S. Senator Bob Menendez apparently allegedly took bribes through gold bars, right? So basically, what I can gather here is that some guy in finance was charged with fraud, right? A federal bank fraud charge. What this guy called Dabiz was charged with fraud, a federal fraud charge. And he basically allegedly gave Bob Menendez gold bars worth at an estimate of $400,000 to help get him out of this charge, basically to side favorably to get him out of these charges. And again, so Bob Menendez allegedly took bribes in gold bars that were worth about $400,000, probably because it's harder to track these gold bars versus any other form of payment, right? So it's going to be hard to track gold bar transfers, but it looks like they got him here. And again, this is all allegedly. It's not for sure. Let me know what you guys think. Do y'all think he's guilty? Do y'all think he's innocent? Because again, Dabez had 12 charges of bank fraud, and ultimately was able to reach an agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey. Only pled guilty to a single count, and then Bob Menendez got $400,000 gold bar. Sketchy. That's all I'm saying. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that follow button. We cover all the finance news you want. Hit the follow button. We appreciate it. But yeah. Sketchy. All I'm saying is sketchy. No, because Bitcoin's trackable for sure. Bitcoin's trackable. All right, so yeah, not a gold bars here. Look at the SPY bounce. Market's very choppy ahead of this report. Again, we got 10 minutes left for it. 10 minutes left. Market's very flat right now leading into this report. Not really any big action. Pretty slow. Yeah, Bitcoin's pretty traceable. How do you get caught doing a gold bar deal? I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, what led the rally was NVIDIA. And so NVIDIA is down huge over the last week or so. It's down from like 450s all the way down to 410s. So very big percentage drop in NVIDIA. Um, so it's basically down 10%. If you look at the numbers, NVIDIA is down 10% in the last week. Pretty big drop. Yeah, I don't know why he freaking took gold bars, guys. I don't know. You know, I'm just covering news here, like we always do. So I'm in a long, heavy position with shorts to hedge. I'm at market open. I'm probably going to sell my shorts and close the longs at a better price. That's today's game plan. Good luck. Yeah, I did see that. We covered that on our crypto show a few days ago. Chris, interesting news for sure. Bitcoin back under 27K though. Yeah, ABGO down pretty big amounts. All right, team. Man, I knew NVIDIA would go down yesterday. I bought 435 put and we'll cash it out when market opens. Nice, Shepard. Congrats. That's a good trade. Yeah, I mean, we might sell off for the Xmas rally. It's certainly possible. Again, I'll probably buy the dip. John, you think 430 on the SPY is a good spot? I don't know, man. Could be. I mean, 430 right here. Yeah, I mean, it could. I'm not sure. I don't know whether you should enter or not. No idea, but it doesn't look bad. Triple bottom at 408. Yeah, I bought NVIDIA just now. We're up a little bit, but not a ton amount. 225K, Justin, is the estimated jobless claims numbers. Again, you can see those numbers right there. Jobless claims expected at 225. Philly Fed index expected at minus 0.7. Both drop at 8:30. We're going to cover it live as it happens in about 6 minutes. NVIDIA all the way back down here. This might drag the SPY back down too. Again, the jobless claims numbers and the Philly Fed index numbers drop in less than 6 minutes. Less than 6 minutes, about 5.5 minutes now. Again, subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit the notification bell. We did break 115,000 subs. So thanks so much, guys. We did break 115K. I appreciate the love so much. Thank you. Jobless claims will be higher. Good for inflation. Oh, man, my bad. Y'all can't hear the music. There you go. NVIDIA to 420, then higher. We'll see. I mean, it's at 413s right now. 413s is held. We've been pretty flat this morning. I think the whole market's waiting for this data release. So again, we got 5 minutes left. But yeah, I think the whole market's waiting for this report. ARM is hard to tell, Arif, because it's such a new stock that nobody knows. Nobody knows here. It's so hard to tell. Yeah, we did break 115K, so thanks so much. ETA for your gold plaque. Oof, I don't know. For finance channels, it's harder to get that many views or to get that many subs. I mean, even the people that have that many subs, a lot of them get the same amount of views that I get, right? So like I see a lot of finance YouTubers that have 1 million plus. A lot of them get the same amount of views that I get, you know? And so YouTube, it's more about the views you get than the sub count. But I like my plaque right here. You know, I've got my plaque right here. So, but yeah, it's all about this. It's all about the views you get more than anything else. Like the views you get matter more. All right, so again, guys, here's this report. We got about 3 minutes left. 3 minutes, a little bit over 3 minutes. Yeah, everything's down pretty big over the last day or two. There's Tesla. Tesla at 257s. All right, guys. Hey, we're at 413.50s. 413.50s. You get NVIDIA bouncing back up a little bit. Still over 413s, guys. We got 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes. All right, guys, we got this little pop. Yeah, y'all bumped the line. What's up, Volt, guys? Hey, I appreciate the support. Thanks so much. Again, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. All right, guys, 1.5 minutes left, team. 1.5 minutes left for jobless claims. This is a little bit off, so it's all right. We got about 1.5 minutes left. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Again, yesterday we broke our I don't know if we broke our viewership, but it's close. So yesterday during the FOMC meeting, we had 5,000 people here live, simultaneous viewers. We got like 40,000 views total. That's up there with like our record for FOMC streams. And so thank you guys so much. Again, hit the subscribe button. We cover all the major economic stuff live for free right here. Jobless claims numbers expected at 225K. We got 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute left. NVIDIA bouncing up. We also have the Philly Fed Index expected at 0.7. So be ready, guys. Here we go. 45 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. You want to make sure your live button looks like this, team. You want to make sure your live button looks like this, team. Man, I sound really nerdy when I say that. You want to make sure your live button looks like this. That's what it sounds like. Look, you want to make sure your live button is red. All right, 30 seconds. Hit the live button. Then make sure you're fully caught up. There's no delay on your stream. All right. Hey, thanks. All right, guys, here we go. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. I think everybody hates the sound of their own voice. I sound like Batman when I first wake up, and then I sound like Pee Wee Herman about 30 minutes later. And so, you know, it is what it is. 5 seconds, guys. 5 seconds. All right, here we go. And there's the release. Waiting here, waiting. I don't see anything yet. Market hasn't really reacted to it either. All right, jobless claims came in at 200,000, 201,000. So under expected numbers at 201,000 for jobless claims. And so this signals economic growth. This means less people were filing for unemployment. Again, 201K, 201K. Again, it signals less people were filing for unemployment. More people working, less people filing for unemployment. The Philly Fed Index came in much weaker for manufacturing than expected. It came in at minus 13.5 versus minus 0.7. So minus 0.7 was what's expected. Wow. It came in at minus 13.5 versus minus 0.7. So less than 1% negative expected. They came in at negative 13.5. So way worse than expected for manufacturing numbers. And again, the SPY does not like this at all. The SPY is dipping pretty heavily now, down to 434. So again, much weaker manufacturing than expected here. But again, with inflation high, that might be seen as a positive, or that can be seen as a positive lately for sure. Again, here's the Philly Fed Index, and then jobless claims hit 201 versus 225 expected. But man, again, much weaker manufacturing sector than expected. Look at the SPY dip. All right, guys. Again, here's the data release right here. We got jobless claims. Here's the numbers right there. Wait, I think I hit the circle. Oops. There we go. All right, market dipped heavy and then bounced back. NVIDIA, we are now slightly red on our NVIDIA trade too. Yeah, Philly Fed Index, much weaker than expected. Let's see if the market bounces back. I mean, it's not a huge drop, but it's a pretty big drop for jobless claims numbers. Again, but the Philly Fed Index, again, people might interpret that as negative, but that's actually, again, based off of what the market has done lately. Again, market has been reacting negatively to higher economic growth, right? So the jobless claims numbers signal economic growth, but the Philly Fed Index signals economic and manufacturing weakness, much greater weakness in manufacturing than expected. And again, if the market is fearing inflation, that could be interpreted as a positive. And so again, we're back up to where we're closer to flat now from this report, which is interesting. And we're flat on our NVIDIA trade too. And so again, market originally reacted negatively here, and now we are almost back up to 435s. We're at 434.80s. So yeah, let me know what you guys think here. This is interesting for sure. My dog Bruce. Market would drop. Sometimes I can predict that as well. Thanks, Burry. Again, we'll see what happens in the market. Again, if you haven't already checked out Top Step is a funded program for futures. So if you want to day trade these releases, right? Top Step is the most legit futures funded program in the world, in my opinion. But again, I am sponsored by them. But again, what they do is they give you a demo, right? They give you a demo account. The base one's $50K. It's only $49.
to take this challenge. If you can hit their target, so they're going to give you a 50K demo. If you can make 3K in profit on that 50K demo without losing over 2K and follow the rest of their rules, they fund you 50K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10,000 in profit. And so you get the best of both worlds. There's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the NASDAQ. You can day trade the S&P 500 or the SPY, basically the price action of the SPY and what's called the E-mini. You can day trade the NASDAQ or the NQ. You can day trade currencies, gold, silver, no PDT rule. And these move a lot like large cap stocks. And so you can get exposure to day trading with less risk. It's only $49. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. There's no PDT in futures. But if you're good enough to pass it, you get a lot of the rewards like you would if you put the money up yourself. You're still keeping 90% of your profit. You still get to keep your first 10K. And just taking the challenge builds your skill. And if you want to get good at day trading, this is one of the best ways to do it because it's cheap. It's not the end of the world if you lose. But if you're good enough to pass it, again, your split is very similar to putting the money up yourself. You keep 90% anyway. And so it's limited risk, a lot of the rewards that you would get. But again, I am biased in their favor because they're a sponsor of mine. If you want to check it out, there's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Link is in right there. You can also find the link in the description also. Hey, thanks, Sir VCO. Yeah, bears are definitely out. Bro, if it breaks 400, it's going straight down to 300. Are you talking about NVIDIA? Yeah, I mean, this is a day trade, bro. I mean, I know people are bearish and they want the market to go down, but this is a day trade. So, like, what NVIDIA does tomorrow doesn't really mean much to me. I'm almost certainly not holding this that long. Unless, I don't know. It'd be a hard sell for me. Yeah, didn't FedEx have earnings? Yeah, FedEx gapping up from 250s to 260s. FedEx looks good. SPY still consolidating after dropping. And again, this is probably from weak manufacturing numbers. The jobless claims numbers actually came in showing a little bit more, less people filing for unemployment. So again, jobless claims is how many people file for unemployment in a given period. And so them coming in at 201,000 versus 225 is much lower than expected. It signals much more people working and less people filing for unemployment. And so in terms of economic growth, that's positive for economic growth. But the market might not like that. Again, as I said before, the market might not like that. That might signal bad inflation problems. The other thing is, again, the Philly Fed index came in much weaker for manufacturing than expected. Again, they expected 0.7% negative. They came in at 13.5% negative. So much worse than expected. We are getting a little bounce though here. So SPY back up to almost 435s. NVIDIA back up to where we're flat completely on it again. Yeah, definitely top three. Yeah, I mean, again, people don't understand, bro. Like, when you realize that people don't understand the true edge of markets whenever you see people like, I saw somebody say that the SPY was going to drop 80%. And this was like in the next 6 months, they said, right? And so the math I gave them was this. Okay, SPY currently at 435s. You're telling me the SPY is going to drop to $87 on the SPY? And again, my response is, tell me you don't know about the market without telling me you don't understand the market. And tell me you don't understand the market without telling me, because it's just never going to happen. Not in my lifetime. Yeah, I got a nice, timeshare, to sell him. Well, if that happens, I mean, listen, it's possible that happens, right? But it would have to be like that. It would have to be it'd have to be nuclear issues, is all I'll say. But again, in that regard, right? If that happens, we got much bigger problems than what the S&P 500 or the SPY is doing. If that happens, we got much bigger problems than any of this. The personal consumption expenditure is next Friday. I think the PCE data, as well as, is it unemployment or GDP? I think it's unemployment. I think it's PCE and unemployment. Let me check. But I think it's next week. Next Friday, I believe. Not 100% sure. Let me look at Market Watch. So it's PCE and GDP data Thursday. So Thursday's GDP, Friday's PCE. So it's not unemployment. So yeah, GDP data. Again, they are expecting, or last time they came in at 2.1%. Let me see if they're expecting anything for next month. It's prelim data, right? So it's not, yeah, so it's not like crazy big data or anything like that. Oh yeah, Powell. Listen, Powell is speaking next Thursday at like 4 o'clock. Yeah, so GDP data expected Thursday next week. 2.1% is what they're expecting. Last time it was 2%, so they're expecting 2.1% next Thursday. So in exactly a week from now, we get GDP data. Day after that, we get PCE, which is the Fed's preferred inflationary gauge. We're going to trade futures, Ghost. We're going to trade futures, bro. It's just going to be a little bit later, man. Yeah, exactly, Biggie. It's just super unlikely. I mean, even if it happens again, we got much bigger problems than the SPY, than our SPY call options, you know. But yeah. Do I even not have Discord up? Sorry, Pawn. I don't even see my Discord, bro. I didn't even have it put up. Bro, the FOMC stream was kind of sketchy yesterday too, dude. It was just, it wasn't very strong. How long do you think we can really go today? Seems we are very low already before the market has even opened. Right, for sure, Chris, exactly. Yeah, I do futures on Top Step, Quant Tower. Yeah, Splunk is getting bought out by Cisco. What happened with the data? Jobless claims came in under expected, signaling economic growth. Philly Fed index came in at minus 13.5 versus minus 0.7%, so showing manufacturing and economic weakness. So mixed results. Tory Lanez has officially been transferred to state prison to begin his 10-year sentence. I haven't really followed what's going on there, but I know it's definitely polarized in terms of viewpoints, and so I'll probably avoid that. Do you think he's guilty or innocent? Let me know. Just because the economy is bad for many doesn't automatically mean it's bad for you. Grant Cardone. The engagement ring. I mean, give it back, bro. I swear, dude. If I ever proposed to it spent like 20K on a ring, and then they didn't want to give it back, I'd be super heated. My mind's in the gutter, honestly. I blame Twitter. In August, failures to deliver an AMC totaled over 264 million, roughly 70% of the stock's monthly trading volume, according to the Street. Do y'all think that's accurate? Yeah. I don't think in some places, maybe, Hassan. I don't think here. Hey, what's up, Paul? Yeah, we got some housing data today. We got specifically existing home sales. So existing home sales data drops at 10. Yeah, existing home sales. All right, so yeah, we got existing home sales at 10. Oh, and I can type very fast, man. I wish they were a better job for it. NVIDIA started to break down. It's at 412s. All right, guys. Let's see. So yeah, existing home sales data live. Yeah, jobless claims is out. There we go. So the Philly Fed index came in much worse than expected for manufacturing. It came in at minus 13.5 versus minus 0.7 expected. Jobless claims came in better than expected if you're looking for economic growth in terms of it came in lower than expected at 201K versus 225,000 expected. So so earnings season happens quarterly. The next earnings season, again, generally with earnings season, it sparks off with Tesla first, right? So Tesla and Netflix are usually the first big companies that report their earnings. And again, we cover all the major earnings reports. We stream all of them live. We stream when they drop as well as the full earnings call on this channel. So again, subscribe if you haven't yet. Again, the next earnings season really starts mid-October. So in about a month from now is the next big earnings season. It's mid-October. Are you sure that's accurate? I mean, I can double check. I'm showing minus 13.5 for the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. It looks like you're talking about the business conditions, right? So the Philly Fed business conditions for September came in at 11.1. I'm talking about the Philly Fed Manufacturing or Business Index. So it looks like you're talking about the Philly Fed Business Conditions, which again came in 11.1. And so again, today, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I gave Carol a ring, and she doesn't really wear the ring I gave her because it's too risky to walk around. Like, we don't need to walk around flexing on everybody with the ring she has. It's just unnecessary, and it's just risky, and like there's just too much risk in that, you know. Like, I told Carol before, like, we've met a lot of people, man. Like, we met a lot of people, like neighbors and stuff like that, and then like most of them are much older than me. Not much older, but most of them are like in their late 40s and 50s, which is fine. I'm not judging you if you're that, but like a lot of their wives, they want to live like the trophy wife, like cocktail, you know, like rich trophy wife lifestyle, and like go to like, you know, go to dinner parties at fancy restaurants with all their friends and drink wine together. And again, I just told Carol, like, I'm not ready to live that life. Like, I don't want to live that life. Carol doesn't want to live that life either. Like, look, we're still young enough to where we don't have to live that life. Like, they might enjoy doing that. Like, bro, I don't care about any of this stuff, man. Like, I don't want to do any of that crap, dude. I want to sit around and play video games and watch sports. And you know, lately I've been, again, training jujitsu, and like, I don't want to be, you know, a snooty, snooty, you know, couple trying to show everybody how much money we have. It's just dumb. I don't need to be that. I don't want to be that. Yeah, I don't want to keep up with the Joneses, you know. All right, so again, market's flat, very flat. SPY's flats, NVIDIA's pretty flat as well. Slight negative action. We're definitely down a little bit, but not a huge amount. Again, here's when the report came out on the SPY. And that is basically the price action. So it's just really slow. Yeah, for sure. No, 100% Biggie. I don't like, you know. Like, that's not what I aspire to be. You know, again, it's not just one. Like, I've met a couple different neighbors, a couple different friends, a couple of like our children's friend, like our children's friends' parents, and like a lot of them are like trying to be that like really wealthy, you know, snooty dinner party, you know, wine party kind of thing. And like, I'm just not trying to do that. I don't care about any of that stuff, you know. For sure, Romeo, 100%, dude. I'm pretty new. I mean, I'm a white belt, but like, I've been doing all right. I'm a one-trick pony. Like, I catch people with my guillotine, my arm-in guillotine. I catch it. I've never actually caught anybody with my arm-out guillotine, but I tapped a purple belt the other day in training with that arm-in guillotine. It's the only instinctual like submission I really know well, and I got a good squeeze. But everything else I get beat up on. Yeah. And I don't think the guillotine for me is gonna work. As soon as like I'm mostly training with like other, like I'm training with a black belts and purple belts and all that stuff. But the people I usually catch are white belts because they run in with their head, you know, with their head out, and so I can just kind of jump on it and get them. But it's not gonna work for long. But again, my confidence is high with it. I tapped a purple belt, like legit tapped him the other day with my guillotine. But again, that's the only submissions I've ever hit on anybody. I've hit an arm triangle on my main training partner, who's like my jiu-jitsu buddy. I got him in an arm triangle from full mount. You know, I didn't even have to transition to side control. I got him from full mount and got him to tap from full mount. So that felt good. But I'm too scared to pull an arm bar on somebody from mount. I'm too worried I'm going to give up position. And my big weakness in jiu-jitsu is usually like, bro, if somebody gets me in half guard cross face, like they might as well just celebrate the win, because that's what I got to work on the most. I like no-gi more, but again, it's less hot. There's less grips that I don't know. Like with gi, you know, I got collar choke the other day, and if you look at this, I got collar choked the other day, and so I've got like a scratch all across my neck. And so the problem with gi is that there's so many different grips that I don't know, that like people usually just get me in a collar grip quickly, and it's hard for me to defend. So I tend to like no gi more. It's also more realistic, but I like both of them. They're both fun. Yeah, money changes everybody. Yeah, top 3 white belts for sure there, you know. Nah, I'm definitely not the best white belt either. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily, people talk about grown man strength. I think it's grown, like, again, another guy I spar with pretty regularly is like a 20-year-old guy. Yeah, he's much taller than me. He's much bigger than me in general. He's got to be like 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", or something. But I usually get the best of him when we roll. And again, I attribute it to like, you're just much more coordinated when you get older. He's got much more potential than I ever will because I'm in my 30s. But when I was 20, I'm not saying I wasn't coordinated, but like your coordination grows over time. Now your endurance definitely goes down, but as you get older, your coordination gets better. And especially when you're like a kid, your coordination is just terrible. But yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily grown man strength or it's just your coordination gets better over time. Anyways, I'll talk about this all day if y'all let me. I'm gonna go back. So again, NVIDIA testing that 412 whole dollar level. The SPY actually starting to move up a little bit. So the SPY at 435s. Again, we're at 435s. Trading? I've been trading for like 7 years, 6-7 years. Bro, I can't wait for money to change me. I'm gonna be flexing and flashing. That's, people with actual money usually don't act like that though. Again, there's a very often used quote, and I think I heard it from my father-in-law, right? But it's true, in which it goes something like, "Riches yell, wealth whispers." You know, and it's true. It's absolutely true. Most wealthy people, they don't want to be a target, so they're not the ones bragging because they don't want people to target them and you know, want something from them, essentially. NVIDIA started to bounce back up, and we're slightly green on this right now. We're slightly green. Again, I'm not claiming to be super wealthy. Again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that quote's generally true. You know, you could also look at another variation of the brightest person in the room is the weakest. Again, NVIDIA almost back up to 413s. We're slightly green. We're basically break even. Who's Brent? Hey, thank you. No, I think to a degree though, Godfather. I think it's to a certain level. You know, I think when you have a certain amount of money, you can buy whatever you want. And so, but like, yeah, if you're a millionaire and you don't want to give up, you know, like say you got $1 million. A lot of people make the mistake is like they make $1 million and they spend 20% of that. They spend $200,000 on a luxury car. Like that's not what smart people do. And so that's where you'll see a lot of like F-150s and a lot of like cheaper but reliable cars. Call it a Ford reliable. Anyways, but no, that's where you'll see a lot of that stuff. But like once you get up to where you're making like 10+ million, that's when you're gonna see like them actually buy really nice cars. But it has to hit a certain level. You know, $1 million really isn't as much as people think it is nowadays. SPY's still moving back up, so the SPY is still technically flat from this report. Again, you can kind of see the report happened here. The SPY's slightly over that. can't buy respect or love, John. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. But I'll tell you this. It's a lot easier to make people love you if you got a bunch of money, you know. I don't know if somebody's telling me to brush my teeth, bro. I got some of the whitest teeth ever, dude. Look at this teeth right here. Look at that teeth. You know? Like, y'all are seeing this yellow screen from here. Definitely top 3 whitest teeth ever right now. Look at this teeth. You know? Fake love, though, John. Yeah, you're probably right. It depends. It depends. You know? What I'm saying is, like, it's a lot easier to get in the door, and then eventually they find love for you if it's like that. You're not even gonna get it. It depends on how old you are, I think. Gold moving. Now, Carol got with me when I had nothing. I'm not gonna say it how I was back then, but I was dumb when I was a teenager. I met Carol when I was 21, 22. And her and I both, you know, yeah. But the point is, when I got with Carol, I had nothing, and she hadn't, you know. And so what's good about meeting somebody like that is I've been with her for 14 years now. And so I don't have to worry about, like, that. SPY going green, back over the volume weighted average price. NVIDIA started to bounce up too, and we are green on NVIDIA again. So the market's starting to react positively. My guess is the market wants to see economic weakness and worse manufacturing numbers because that signals less inflation problems, is my guess here, especially with the Fed pausing yesterday, which does less for inflation damage over time. This makes sense, I think, in terms of, like, logical movements in the S&P 500 and the SPY. Again, what I'm saying is, like, yesterday the Fed paused or skipped, signaling less damage to inflation and more, ultimately, more inflation fears with the skip or a pause. With that, and, you know, in that regard, the market's going to want less economic growth, more economic weakness, and definitely more weakness in manufacturing because of that inflation problem. And so with the Philly Fed manufacturing index coming in much worse than expected, it makes logical sense here that the market would actually go up. But the numbers were technically mixed because, again, the jobless claims numbers showed more people working, showed economic growth as well. So it was kind of mixed numbers, but that kind of canceled each other out. But the Philly Fed index numbers were just much worse than expected, like way worse. The jobless claims numbers were similar in range. The Philly Fed numbers came in much worse than expected. Again, they expected minus 0.7. They ended up showing minus 13.5. So just much worse. For sure. Yeah, we both grew up. It's easy to get a lot of people to hate you. Yeah. I mean, you just have to have something that people want. There's a famous quote. Anytime you have power in anything, people dislike you and they try to take it from you. You know, human nature, I guess. Yeah, but the market's already reacted to that uncertainty. Trader Revolution says rising up now to pull back at the market open. I believe Powell's uncertainty to his Q&A yesterday is going to outweigh jobless claims today. We need a dead cat bounce though, for sure. Yeah, I think we're extended on the downside as well, Trader. And I think the market's already reacted to Powell's uncertainty. You know, I think the market's already dipped pretty heavily from the FOMC meeting yesterday. And so in that regard, I would put my bias to the upside as well today. But again, I'm going to say that with a grain of salt because I really don't, nobody knows what the market's going to do. Yeah, we're going to stream home sales for sure. Yeah, I got out of Louisiana. That definitely helped my life, Chris. Listen, I love my home. Like I love Louisiana. I love Baton Rouge. I love New Orleans. But I just had a lot of bad news friends that weren't going anywhere, man. that weren't going anywhere. And you really are who you hang out with. I told this is what I teach my kids. Like, you are who you hang out with. Like, if you hang out with a bunch of people that are just not good news, that's who you're going to turn into. And so the single best thing for yourself that you can do in your life is make good friends that are good influences. I know it's not cool to be good nowadays, but like, make good friends that are good influences, and your life will be better. You know, you make a bunch of bad friends that don't really have your best interests at heart, that are not good influences, that constantly getting in trouble, thinking it's cool, trying to be bad boys or whatever it is. And everybody goes through that stage, but that's going to hurt your life. You know, that's what I try to teach my kids. You got to just keep your kids busy too. Yeah. No, Justin never played it. Never been into it. I'm not much of a story game player. Like, I'm like a competitive person. So I like playing online competitive stuff. So like, the games I play are like, I'll play UFC 4, I'll play MLB The Show. I don't really play the story mode much in any game. You know, and most of the time I'm playing with friends, right? So I'll play Halo. I grew up on Halo. Halo was like my game that I played with friends all my life. And a lot of my friends are still in Louisiana. I've got some good friends that are good influences that live in Louisiana that I hang out with on Xbox, right? So that's really why I play it, so I can chill and kind of find a reason to talk to my friends. But yeah. All right, so again, NVIDIA trying to come back. NVIDIA's down a ton over the last few days, guys. Again, look at NVIDIA here. Here's a 20-day chart of NVIDIA. It's been a tough time since the big run up. Now, again, NVIDIA is still wildly green on the year. You know, here's the yearly chart. Or that's a weekly chart, sorry. Here's the yearly chart for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is still wildly green on the year. It's not the worst thing ever. But it's definitely not looking as good as it was a week or two ago. Yeah, I mean, the South, like the deep South, is hard regardless, Chris. And again, this is somebody that I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is like 45 minutes from New Orleans. Baton Rouge is the murder capital. You know, a lot of years it's been. New Orleans is too, and so it's hard to get out of that when you live around it for so long. You know, it's the best way I can describe it. It's hard to explain, but I think you probably know what I'm saying. Yeah, NVIDIA always had super high PE ratio. Like, the price to earnings ratio on NVIDIA was sky high, and it's been that way for a month or two now since the crazy run up. All right, SPY's still trying to break that VWAP level. It's right under the volume weighted average price, and it's trying. Again, we're going to get ready to trade some futures today. We lost a little bit on our funded account yesterday, but we had 6 days in a row prior to yesterday too, so like, we're all good. Let me pull up Quant Tower here. Okay, got it, Jessica. Yeah, I'll check it out. It might not be today. It's been a kind of I have had some stuff going on in my personal life, not with Carol, but with my kids. Like, there's been some stuff going on. I can't really say what it is. It's kind of personal, but it's just been a deep stress on my family the last couple weeks. So, yeah, so I've just been busy. I've had to kind of push back some other, like the crypto channel and some other stuff. I think Cam's actually working right now. It has been for the last few days. So here we go. Let's pull this up. So this is our funded account. So we're going to trade first on our funded account today. On Top Step, here's the E-mini, the S&P 500 futures contract. Basically, the SPY is right here. And that, again, that's the thing people don't understand about futures is that you can day trade the SPY basically at what's called the E-mini. Like, look, here's the SPY on the right, and then here's the S&P 500. Look, dip, bounce, pull back, dip, bounce, pull back. It's the same price action, but I can trade this one here, no PDT rule. Look, I can buy market, buy bid, sell the ask, flatten, reverse, just like stocks, except there's, it's a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing. And you can day trade with better liquidity and no PDT rule in futures, right? It's where most pro day traders trade, is futures. And again, Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. They pay out millions every year. They fund thousands of traders a year. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals, and they've been around for over a decade. They're the most legit one in the world. They give you a demo, test your skill. Just taking the challenge builds your skill, and it's the best of both worlds. If you lose, you're only out $50 on the base combine. If you're good enough to pass it, you still keep 90%, and you get to keep your first 10K in profit. But I am biased because they pay me money, and you want to confirm all of that stuff on their site. But again, great way to help support the channel if you want to check it out. I use Quant Tower with Top Step. And again, originally I was contractually obligated to use Quant Tower because, again, Top Step's a sponsor of mine. I'm no longer contractually obligated to use Quant Tower, but I still like it. Like, I still like it way more than anything else. Once you get used to it, it's really nice as a platform. What's up, Ace? Amazon's had a super high PE ratio for like the last year straight. And again, maybe we'll buy the dip here, but it's still so high up right now. What's the price for Amazon? 131s. Yeah, it's still so high up. Like, you look at a daily chart, Amazon's still very green on the year. Hey, what's up, Ace? Yeah, it's all good, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it's all right. Like, again, it has nothing to do with Carol and I. It has to do with my kids. And so it'll be all right. I appreciate it. Do you think AMC can come back? I hope it does. I'm in AMC small though, but I hope it does. Amazon's up there to $8. I mean, it's doing okay. The problem with AMC is that people just treat it. They have super unreasonable expectations for it. Like the part of that community. Like, whenever you start your community off with just wild sensationalization, right? When you sensationalize everything about your stock, when you tell everybody all these crazy conspiracies, and then not only that, but when you support everybody that puts out a wild conspiracy theory just out of confirmation bias, it ends up destroying the stock. Like, it makes it very difficult for the stock to succeed because nobody believes you whenever a legit one comes out. Like, there's been so many conspiracy theories regarding AMC and GameStop in the last few years that, like, even if one of these was true, nobody's going to believe it. It's going to be hard to get that squeeze and buying pressure because nobody's going to believe it anymore because there's been so much crap. And it's mostly just from people that are trying to grow a following online. Like, listen, if I didn't have a following and I really wanted to grow one online and I could be sleazy with it, I would tell everybody, hey guys, AMC's got this crazy conspiracy theory. It's going to go to $100, and I would spit a bunch of nonsense for 500 words of nonsense at them and tell them AMC's going to hit $1,000 because of this, right? And then you get all the AMC retail new traders just jumping ship saying, oh great, yeah, AMC's going to moon. Anybody that doesn't believe it is dumb, right? And I've said this before. Truly successful companies don't need to pat each other on the back, don't need to pat its shareholders on the back to get them to hold it. Truly successful companies don't need to make you feel all warm and fuzzy so that you stay in it. Truly healthy companies don't need to pressure you not to sell, don't need to shame you if you sell to stay afloat, right? And again, if your company is making you feel all warm and fuzzy, part of a community around the stock, it's probably because the stock's dropping big percentages and they're desperate for you to hold it. And again, truly successful companies don't need to do that. And so snap out of it. Don't be gullible. You shouldn't like to be manipulated. But again, I think a lot of people are just losing so much money here in stocks like this that they're just so desperate for it to come back that they'll believe any wild conspiracy theory that people put out there for it. And again, I'm in AMC. I hope it goes up. But I think one of the things that just negatively affects the stock is that. Yeah, I'm trading the E-mini, the ESZ3 is the symbol. I'm also trade the NASDAQ, which is the NQZ3. I also trade the Dow, which is the YMZ3. Hey, thank you, Jessica. Hey, thanks, Bob. Tesla down at 250s. It's time for a dip buy here. Again, you can see the E-mini up there. I'm not really, part of me wants to buy this. I'm just going to sit and wait, though. I just don't trust it. So part of me wants to buy it. I just don't trust it. Like, I don't think the pattern looks that bad. Again, it's just hard to trust. Very flat. Like, here's the NASDAQ. Right, so here's the Q, basically. The futures contract of the Q. Very choppy. Very, very, very choppy. Thoughts on the Dow? Dow ripped up yesterday prior to the meeting, right? Let me see. Yeah, so the Dow ripped all the way up to over 35K yesterday. At least the futures contract did. But again, just like everything else, it's pulling back. And again, thank you so much, guys. We broke 115,000 subs. Thanks so much. We got 14 minutes. Again, I should have bought that dip. I mean, I was thinking about it, but it's all good. Do you think it's better to scalp Dow or hold long term? It depends on your skill level, of course. If anything, it's subjective. Like, it's going to depend on the person. I think for a large majority of people, it's going to be better to just sit in the Dow, invest in it long term. You're going to earn much more reliable income from that than scalping it. But if you're good enough to scalp it and you got the skills to do so, then you could try that too. This is Quant Tower, James. QUANTOWER, Quant Tower. The economy is going to slow down. That's the time for retail stocks, says Goldman Sachs. Yeah, but I don't think Macy's is going to do anything. Macy's is an obsolete company at this point in time, I think. NVIDIA is still falling back down. Again, we're still in NVIDIA, but we're basically flat. We're down $2, $3, $2.90. Yeah, again, I see Goldman Sachs basically telling people to buy retail stocks. The problem with retail, man, it depends on what we're looking at. Like, if we're talking about Macy's, Macy's is not the one to buy, in my opinion. The problem with Macy's is, again, JCPenney, ghost town. Macy's, ghost town. Like, these stores are very, very slow. The reason they're slow is because you could buy most of the stuff at the store online and get it shipped to you overnight very quickly and efficiently for cheaper. And so over the long run, just like physical copies of video games are going to trend down over time, and digital downloads are going to go up. For that same reason, mail order stuff like this, like Macy's, like JCPenney, those are going to trend down over time as well, because people don't need to go buy them at the store anymore. And so those businesses in general are becoming obsolete. And that's what, if you look at commercial real estate has been in a huge slump for the last few years. The reason for that is because of what I'm saying, which, there's a few reasons. There's a lot of nuance behind that. But one of the reasons is because retail is becoming obsolete to a certain extent, and the efficiency of mail order stuff is getting higher and higher each year. The other reason, of course, for commercial sales decline and for commercial real estate going down is simply because after the pandemic, businesses realized they didn't need to pay rent in warehouses and supply warehouses with 100 people. Instead, they could allow people to work remotely, and they're going to get about the same efficiency with much better margins because they're not having to pay rent and buy buildings and all this different stuff. The technology behind remote work is becoming greater and greater as time goes on. Yeah, again, that's bad for commercial. It's just bad for commercial in general. And as well as like the other side to that is interest rates are freaking ridiculous. They're like 7% right now, 8%. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Hey, happy Thursday. Hope you're doing good. Are you shorting today, John? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be day trading, and so I never know which direction I'm gonna be day trading in. You can't be too rigid and too one-dimensional when you're day trading because, again, it's one of the reasons like everybody's like, oh, use a cash account. It's like, bro, you can only go long in a cash account. You can't go short. You can only go long, and that bias is too much. You got to be able to go both ways in day trading. If not, you're gonna lose. If not, you're always going to see long patterns. Like if you can only go on the long side, you're only going to see long patterns. You're never going to identify short patterns because you know you can't go short, right? So you're going to completely ignore them and you're only going to look for long patterns. And then that's just going to slowly creep up in terms of bias over time. And it's going to not be super profitable, I think. Again, if I had to pick a bias, I think my bias is on the long side today, just because we're down so much. And I think even if we don't hold a bounce, I think a bounce a lot of the time happens after big pullbacks like yesterday. But again, definitely not saying for sure that we're going to go up today. I think it's possible that we go up a small amount and then reverse back down and do whatever we're going to do after that. But yeah. Yeah, you can't buy puts with the cash account. You could also buy inverse ETFs, right? So like you could buy the SQ, the inverse SPY, the inverse Q, stuff like that. So you can find ways to short with a cash account. It's possible. If JP Paul's why the big drop, most likely because his apprehension to give any definitive statements yesterday. He didn't. He said he didn't know if they were going to raise rates for the rest of the year. He said he didn't know if they were going to hit a recession in the next year or two. He basically shrugged his shoulders and said, "I don't know," the whole time. All right, guys, 7 minutes. Hmm. All right, guys, we got like 5 minutes. Bro, what I hate about some sites is that they make it so difficult for you to oh, there it is. To downgrade. All right, so again, I should have bought that dip. Look at the SPY test the highs up there. Let's watch NVIDIA too. But SPY just broke over the VWAP. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, we got 10 o'clock. We got existing home sales at 10. It's not a big release though. All right, guys, 4 minutes. All right, so again, SPY moving up. Look at the SPY over the VWAP here. You can kind of see the U-shaped breakout pattern. We're up to 435.50s or so. NVIDIA's starting to creep back up a little bit again. It's had a pretty red week or so. We're slightly green in our NVIDIA trade too, and I guess I'll let it sit until the open, but I'm not going to hold it too long. I guess my bias is on the long side because we're down so much already, but again, I really don't know what we're going to get. NVIDIA back up to 413s. Netflix put options. I don't really short. It depends on the time frame. I don't really short any large blue chip company long term. I think that's really risky. I think that's trading against the biggest edge the market ever gives you. So I just never short big blue chip companies long term. NVIDIA just cracked over VWAP and then fell down a little bit. Yeah, I think again the problem with Netflix is that Netflix has had a crazy run. You know, starting in May of last year, this thing was at $180. Over the last year and a half, it's gone from that $180 all the way up to almost 500, like 480s on one point. And so I think that's where you wanted to short it if you were going to short it at this point in time. Whoa, NVIDIA rip it up here, guys. And again, we went long on NVIDIA today. We are up nicely in this trade. Let's see if there's a reason why. JP Morgan expects the Bank of England to hold rates in November and throughout the year. Cisco says Splunk deal will add $4 billion in annual recurring revenue via CNBC. Again, I don't know why NVIDIA is up so much. Let's see if we can find some news here. But it's up. This is some type of catalyst-driven thing, certainly. Anybody know what this news is? Gotta be something. I'm gonna take 3 shares off just because we're prior to the opening bell. Just locked it in, just protected the trade. But yeah, this has got to be some type of news. I'm assuming. Maybe not. Market's following it up too. SPY held the volume weighted average price. See if the market bounces. Again, SPY rip it up. NVIDIA just cracked over that high again. It's not the pre-market high, but it's the high of the last few hours. SPY rip it up. Look at this. It's got to be some news, right? We got 10 seconds until the market opens, but it's got to be some news related here, I'm assuming, huh? All right, so there's the opening bell, guys. There's the open. Again, big rip up, and then a big pullback for NVIDIA, and then a big retracement. This is kind of risky, but I'm going to take one contract at the opening bell here. NVIDIA is trying to retrace back up. There we go. Slightly green. Again, it's kind of risky, but I see NVIDIA ramping up, and I think that's going to drag the market back up with it. There you go. Nice. We just made 50 bucks, locked in 50 bucks. Again, it's too close to the open for me to want to hold it super long, but we just locked in some money. SPY up. Again, this is why I told you guys my bias is on the upside. I'm going to go ahead and lock in a little bit more on NVIDIA here because we can. All right, so we're out. Or we're in NVIDIA. We've sold half the position so far. Yeah, so we're up 50 in our funded account so far. SPY pulling back though. Yeah, NVIDIA's still ripping up, looking good. Part of me wants to buy this dip again, but risky. So we're in one contract here. NVIDIA way up over 420s now too. All right, we got two contracts. It's a little close to the opening bell, but I think the risk is worth it. We got a cushion on the day too, so it's not the end of the world if we lose. All right, we're flat on the day now. Again, we're completely flat on the day. I'd love to give this a chance to bounce. I really wanted to. The only problem is like NVIDIA's pulling back now. We got two contracts of the regular E-mini at the open. It's a little early for me to trade at the opening bell. I'm looking for NVIDIA to pull this back up. There's too much risk. I'm going to cut that. And so we're out. We're probably slightly down on the trade now, but not a ton. Or on the day now, I mean. Yeah, we're down a little bit. Looks like I got out in time too because big pullback here. I'm going to switch to the NASDAQ. Hold on, actually, let me see. Okay, so we might short the market if we bounce back up at the VWAP. We got to watch NVIDIA though. So we got to watch NVIDIA. Like I said, we might be switching accounts here. Okay. That's my funded account. I really don't want to give too much back. You know what I mean? So we're going to try to figure out. Okay. All right. We're going to look at the breakdown. Okay, yeah, making sure I'm picking the right account. I don't want to accidentally trade on my funded account if I don't have to. All right, so S&P breaking down. We might short this too. We just need a little bounce up. Small bounce. See if we add a little bit more until a little pop back up. Watching NVIDIA pretty close. And again, I'm very selective with my funded account because, again, what I try to do is I try to build up a cushion on the day first. If I can't build up a cushion, I don't even try to keep pushing. Most people get emotional and lose their funded account because they keep pushing when they shouldn't. So usually I'm trying to build up a cushion first and then attack, and NVIDIA reversing all the way back down. All right, there we go. We're slightly green. So we can break down a little bit more. Really, I'm getting kind of a sideways vibe today, though. Yeah, I mean, this is a funded account, so we're gonna have to cut this pretty soon. Yeah, so we got out. Again, I'm getting kind of a sideways vibe. Look at that choppiness. SPY coming back up. Watch NVIDIA make moves. My stock portfolio is looking better too. Yeah, I try to build up that cushion, and then once I build up that cushion, then we take some swings from it. But we got to build up that cushion first. If we can't, then we just stop trying. NASDAQ's actually ripping up, looking very strong. Mostly being brought by NVIDIA pushing up. And again, we're still green in our NVIDIA trade, of course. Like I said, we're still in NVIDIA. Up really nicely in it, too. Yeah, I got to build up a small cushion first. If not, I don't want to keep pushing. And I don't need to keep pushing either. Again, one thing, like, money's not made in trading, it's made in waiting, is a very famous quote, right? And that's the kind of, I think I got a reset in one of my Combine accounts today, too, for the month that was down in. So I'm trying to find that one now. Let me find it. All right. Oh. I'll try it on this one. Make sure I got like OCD. I want to make sure I'm not gonna accidentally trade riskily on my funded account. There's NVIDIA finally starting to dip back down too. Again, like I said, I'm getting kind of a choppy vibe. I just don't see too much good action here. If you want to take these funded account programs with me, I'm sponsored by a company called Top Step. This is Quant Tower using a Top Step account. I traded my funded account and some challenge accounts today, and you get more than one. And so again, I've been trading on those today. If you want to take the challenge with me, it's pretty cheap. It's $49. Again, what they do is they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you. In the futures market, you can day trade the S&P and what's called the E-mini, the ES. You can trade the NASDAQ and what's called the NQ. You can trade currencies, gold, silver. The patterns are very similar to large caps, but there's no PDT rule, and these funded account programs are allowed. And Top Step's the most legit one in the world. They give you a demo, test your skill. It builds your skill just taking the challenge. And if you're good enough to pass it, you get a 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K. And we've been funded on a couple different accounts over the last few months. If you're not good enough to pass it, you're probably going to lose less than you would putting up the money yourself. And so in my opinion, it's the best of both worlds. But they are a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, of course. But if you want to check it out, here's the link. Is Disney running up? Let me see. Hey, look at Disney. Cool. Yeah, we added to it yesterday. Or maybe it was today we added. We added someday. I think it was actually we added to it on the 19th, so 2 days ago. But we're green in the trade so far. I don't know whether I want to take profit yet on that one, but we're watching it. Adobe. Yeah, Adobe's bouncing back some, but it's down so much. Look at the E-mini run down. I mean, and when you compare that to like the NQ looks much stronger today than the E-mini does, which is weird. So like here's the NQ, right? So here's the S&P 500, and then here's the NASDAQ. Look at how different they look. This is the NASDAQ, so they're almost opposite. And again, mostly the NASDAQ's up, and it looks like NVIDIA. And so again, this is what I mean. Like the NASDAQ looks a lot like NVIDIA today, and so you can essentially get exposure. And the reason it looks like NVIDIA is because NVIDIA is a heavily weighted stock. Look, so run up, dip, run up, dip, run up, dip, run up, dip, right? Similar price action in NVIDIA and NASDAQ, and you can day trade this on the left side with no PDT rule. Is AMC running up? Again, I don't really trust it, though. We're pretty flat. SPY is down, the NASDAQ's up. AMC is running up a little bit today. It's up to 830s. Had a big day yesterday. It didn't hold, though. I'd never heard of them, Arif. Yeah, never heard of them, bro. Don't know much about them. Hey, good luck, beat. Look at this rip up, man, on the NASDAQ. SPY bouncing back again. Very flat day, though. Look, up, down, up, down, up. Up, down, up, down, up on NVIDIA. SPY is up, down, up, down, up. Different direction, though, but yeah, pretty flat. Not really looking that great. And then we're pulling back down. All right, so NVIDIA breaking down here. I see bear action coming in right now. So I see weakness. We'll try shorting this. Again, I got to make sure this is not my funded account, dude. Okay, good. It's not. All right, so again, we're short. We're up $50 right now. 70. I like the short idea. NVIDIA's testing that VWAP. And we're pretty flat. We're slightly green, pretty flat. Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cover this too. These are combine accounts. Again, we lost $100 bucks on our challenge or on our funded account, and we cut out of this, and so not really what we want. But in this account, we've got a cushion, so we can let it roll. I might try one more time here and see if we get a rejection back down. Well, might be it for this account. NVIDIA back over VWAP. Let's see if it flushes. All right, we're closer to break even now. There we go. I took half off, locked in a little bit more. A little bit of a risky trade there, but baby. How you doing? All right, so yeah, we're up about $300 on the day now on this. Got a little lucky there. We were down big at one point in time. Hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry, Carol's talking to me about kid stuff, but yeah, it's all good. You think the market overreacted to Powell? To a certain extent, yes, but it doesn't mean anything really. We're gonna go ahead and take a little bit more off of our NVIDIA trade and just hold a quarter of the position the original left. Yes, Disney's still running up. Oh wow, Disney is up a bunch more. Cool. We'll take a third of the position off on our Disney trade just because we can, and it's up enough to where we're pretty nicely green. And again, our average price is 81.50s, so we just took a quarter of the position off, lock that in. Still red on the day in stocks for sure, but very flat day and everything, which is kind of interesting. Tomorrow, I don't think we have any economic stuff. I don't think we do. Let me see. Tomorrow's the 22nd. Oh yeah, we got manufacturing and services PMI tomorrow, so we do have some stuff, and we got Canadian retail sales. So we actually have a decent day tomorrow. It's not a small day. So again, manufacturing and services PMI tomorrow at 9:45. So that'll be interesting. Global composite PMI. Services PMI is the big one. Again, we are getting red action. NVIDIA's starting to break down. It looks like me taking profit there was the right move. Disney's still testing highs up there too. Market's very flat though. Again, the market's reacting to NVIDIA breaking down here. Pretty sideways day. No, I was long in NVIDIA, but I got in long at 412s and it pushed all the way up to 420s where I took my profit, and then we're sitting on a quarter of the position left. So we're up a decent amount on it still. I'm not going to hold it forever. If we crack under 415, I'll probably cut it and figure out what I want to do with the rest. So I'll let it test 415, but if it can't hold that, we're just going to cut it. Again, thanks for helping me hit 115,000 subs, guys, yesterday. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. We're going to keep the growth up. And genuinely appreciate the love and support. It is slow September. And so it's really nice to hit these numbers. And again, we had almost our largest FOMC stream yesterday. We had 5,000 people here for the FOMC. We broke over 35,000 views, almost 40,000 views, which is probably our largest FOMC stream ever. It's close to it at least. So thank you so much for the growth. I genuinely appreciate the love, guys. And yeah, let's keep it up. All right, so the average interest rate on a 30-year mortgage rises to 7.9%, its highest since December of 2000. I don't know if you guys noticed this. We also have existing home sales coming out, but interest rates went up more. That's crazy. That's crazy high. All right, 10 minutes, guys. Disney started to pull back, so it looks like taking a little bit of profit there was the right move. I am seeing some bearish action. Hey, all good, Justin. Thanks for the support, man. What time is the next data? So we got existing home sales in 9 minutes. Yeah, also remember Chart Prime, guys. So again, if you want to check out Chart Prime, you can now try them out. We've had a lot of people ask about these indicators. You can now try them out for $1, right? They've got a free trial going on right now for $1. So again, you can try them out for 2 weeks for $1 right now. If you want to check it out, I'll post this link here. You can also use that promo code. But again, try it out for $1. Really cool, really nice accuracy. And if you haven't seen Chart Prime, it's a trading view indicator service. Again, I've had a lot of people say they tried it out. This started yesterday, I think, or the day before. I've had a lot of people say they try it out and they're genuinely impressed by the accuracy rates. Again, my favorite ones, just to give you my favorites, but again, they might not be your favorites. My favorites are the Market Oracle Pro on a 5-minute chart. And when you look at it, look for it to say strong. It's generally a pretty good sign. Look, and it said strong couple minutes ago on the downside on a 5-minute chart. This buy signal was wrong, but look, sell signal drop, buy signal bounce, strong dip, drop, buy signal. That might have been wrong. But look, sell signal here. Look at all this weakness afterwards. Look at you can also look at like flag patterns. I can put up reversals, oscillators, smart money concepts. It's generally $40 a month, but you can try it out for $1 and test it out. There's so much stuff you could use too. Check it out. AMD dipping down. Yeah, I mean, AMD's probably dipping with NVIDIA. Oh, man. AMD's dropping down under $100. That's at $97 over the last day. All right, team. Existing home sales at about 7 minutes, guys. 7 minutes. Where's Tesla at right now, too? What's Tesla doing? Is Tesla dipping with all this action today? Yep, Tesla down to 250s. Is it time to buy the dip, team? Let me know. I'm going to do a poll real quick. I'm going to do a poll in this one. We got about 700 votes on the last one. Is it time to buy the dip? That's the poll. We also have existing home sales again in about 5 minutes. All right, so Robert Murdoch stepping down as chairman of Fox. Yeah, I think it's good or bad. I'm not a big like Fox person. Yeah. Anything else moving today? I see mostly red action, but again, the SPY is pretty flat. Like we're red, but it's still pretty sideways. I just don't see any big potential action. We got 4 minutes left until existing home sales. Expectations for existing home sales are for 4.1 million. 4.1 million existing home sales for August is what they're expecting. Existing home sales is the annualized number of residential buildings that were sold during the previous month of August. It helps gauge the strength of the housing market, of course. Higher than expected is better for the housing market. Worse than expected, obviously lower than expected is worse for the housing market. And again, this data drops in about 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes. 4.1 million is what they're expecting. The July numbers came in at 4.07 million. 4.07 million. So. Again, new existing home sales drop at 10 a.m. market time. Market might be a little flat, waiting for it. I don't think it's gonna wildly move markets, though. I just don't. I don't think it's gonna crazily move markets. Hostess for a company, I'm not sure. I know the company. I don't know much about how the company operates, though, or what their margins or businesses are like. And so I'm not sure there. All right, guys, 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Tesla bouncing up a little bit. This might drag things back up. NVIDIA bouncing back up to 415s here. I'm still in. I thought I would get out if it didn't hold 415s. And I let it test, and now it's back over it. So maybe that's the right move. Tesla bouncing back right around 256. Yeah, Uber getting big dips, big drops. All right, less than 2 minutes, team. A minute and a half, team. A minute and a half. Again, hit that sub button. Help me break 116,000 subs sometime soon, team. Do it now. I'd never pressure you. If you don't, I'll hate you forever. It just takes one. Don't be stubborn. I know some of y'all, about half of y'all, haven't subscribed. We cover all the major reports, and we cover it quickly. So you can pay $30K for Bloomberg Terminal, or you can get this for free at Beginner Trading. Subscribing is free. It doesn't cost anything. If you hit the bell, you'll get an alert anytime we go live, and we cover all the FOMC meetings, all the jobless claims reports, all the earnings reports that are big. Retail sales, Jerome Powell press conferences. We cover all of it, explain it in an easily to digest way. And again, it should be an easy choice. Hit the sub button. We appreciate it. We got less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute. Again, 4.1 million is what existing home sales are expected to show up as. 4.1 million. Tesla bouncing back a little bit, but NVIDIA breaking down. I'll probably cut NVIDIA right here because I don't have time to watch it. So we're just going to sit on our winnings today for NVIDIA. We made some money on it for sure. And we're just going to sit around and wait. I don't feel like having to watch it that closely. Again, check out Top Step if you haven't already, if you want to day trade with me. Funded account programs are incredibly useful for limiting risk, but if you're good enough to pass it, you still get 90% split. Top Step's the most legit one in futures, and they've been around for over a decade. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals from their profitable traders every year. Again, just limited risk. Most traders are going to lose, but it's a lot cheaper to lose that than put up 10K yourself and lose that. And so if you want to try it out, link is in the description. And with that said, guys, here goes existing home sales. 8 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, and 4.04 million, 4.04 million, lower than expected existing home sales, 4.04 million versus 4.1 million expected. Again, we covered that in less than half a second. 4.01 million, we covered it before TOS, we covered it before a lot of other people. 4.04 million versus 4.1 million expected for existing home sales. We came in at minus 0.7%, minus 0.7%. So, hey, you're welcome. Here's the data release in chat. We'll put it up in chat. And yeah, I told you guys, we covered this quickly. If there's no better argument for subscribing than that. Is Tesla moving back up? It is. Let's try it. We got out of NVIDIA, but it's all good. But yeah, there's existing home sales. Listen, y'all be safe. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys later. Good luck. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we got services and manufacturing PMI data. Services and manufacturing PMI data. Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to affect the broader market. It's just a real estate metric. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Good luck.